3,000 yards.
Wow. You're making me excited.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the Soul Shack tonight. On my right, Adam Markham. On my left, Bobby Reynolds. Gentlemen, how are we this evening?
Doing well, Josh. Hello, YouTube. Hello, podcast world. Addy here.
We got Addy's yell on the board now. And before you ask about the drop that Adam asked about,
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
so quit asking about it, folks.
It's an all-timer right there. Thank you, Josh.
That clip is not a good look for old Nicky S.
Not great. It's like that was before the smack.
Before the smack heard around the world. Bobo, how are you, man?
I'm good, guys. How are y'all?
Very good. You had a little bit of a stressful situation this past weekend.
Yes, sir. Sure did. Which one are we talking about?
Popeyes. Let's tell the Popeyes story.
The Popeyes was stressful. This morning was probably more stressful. Getting to retake the permit test at age 34 when you find out your license had been expired for the better part of a year and a half.
A year and a half?
A year and a half, June of 2020, Josh.
Nah, Bobby, tell us really why you didn't have your license.
Oh, man. But seriously, no, absolutely. I had to go renew the license. I knew about it ahead of time, so I tried to kind of slide it by and say, hey, what I owe you? She was like, no, you've got to go take the vision eye test, which I was more worried about.
Oh, I would fail that 100%.
Yeah. And then the 40-question permit test, like when you're 15 and a half in Kentucky. And
God.
You didn't study up or anything before taking this thing?
Dude, I walked straight from wherever this was down near Mariah's in Bowling Green, came down to the testing center, me and a bunch of 15-year-olds and a Korean guy beside of me, and we just all kind of,
held arms and prayed.
Let's huddle up, guys, do our best.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Let go,
Literally
let God.
take the wheel.
Literally. It's a good one. The beautiful mind.
The first question is, who takes the wheel? Jesus.
So
Was it like Scantron or like?
two cars enter an intersection together across from each other at the exact same time.
Yep.
Which one has the right of way?
It's on the right, but there's no one on the right, right?
Okay.
Ooh, left.
You just kind of figure it out. You kind of motion.
The car going straight.
But what if they're both going straight?
Yeah.
I guess they can both go together because you're not really
you're not going to hit each other, right?
Just got to use your signals. A lot of people in Bowling Green aren't,
That's where you kind of got to figure it.
Yeah, hey, we good? Give the hand. Okay, you all right?
You just kind of. Here's the thing they don't tell you about driving is you just figure it out. Like you just kind of make it up as you go along.
Yeah.
Whatever official.
Like,
I tried to tell them that this morning.
It's an art form, right? It's like dancing, right?
That's a great comparison.
Sure.
Andy. Yeah,
Driving is like
driving
dancing.
is 100% like dancing.
Right?
You
a beautiful night.
You shouldn't do it alone, I think is the lesson here, the moral of the story.
The sweaty part was where she was like, look, now you can't miss more than 8 or the test will go off on its own. So after 33.
Oh, it was on a computer?
Oh, yeah, just on like a stand-up computer. Couldn't use your phone,
You're in your vehicle?
No, I'm standing in front of this woman who works for the sheriff's department 5 minutes after I had been down and, wherever to pay to get my renewal and whatnot. And the test goes off after 33, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I failed this thing. But it said, congratulations, you have passed. So I guess I didn't miss any.
You didn't miss any because you had 7 questions left.
It's not possible at that point to fail. So, hey, dab on y'all.
Let's go, Bob. Dab on y'all. 2 men with
all y'all
active
podcast
license.
listeners.
Everyone that ever doubted.
Yeah, everyone that ever doubted.
Okay, so you didn't have to do the actual test.
No, I was looking more forward to that. Come get in the Dodge Ram diesel. I'm gonna show you how to drift.
Bobby's gonna take this guy out to
I was hoping that's where we were going. I was hoping Bobby was really scared when he was doing the parallel park.
Hit the curb.
Nah, boy, we'd be all right with that. That would have been the least of my worries. The vision part was most worrisome.
In that big old truck.
The vision part was worrisome for me. I thought they're going to tell me I'm
Where did you
legally
take
blind.
the vision test?
Right there in front. You just put your head down in a pair of glasses and they say, read the top line. Is the dot in or out of the box? I guessed on that part. Guessed right, I guess.
Oh, my God.
I don't know what my vision was, but we passed.
I literally still have a recurring nightmare about being in college and having to take a final for a class that I never attended.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that. Had one where you feel like oh my God, I forgot to go to class for the whole semester.
The whole semester.
I've been out of school for 10 years.
It never ends. I have that one a lot.
Yeah.
No, glad to be here tonight. You know, got a lot of people in my life that have been belly aching, and you know, got a lot of troubles going on. So good to see you boys tonight. Good to be in the Soul
Good to be
Chat.
seen.
You know, good to get in here and smell. Josh just took a shower. He smells amazing.
I got the Manscaped cologne on.
Pass that.
Good stuff.
It was good stuff. We had a great run with Manscaped. We thank them for their partnership. We have ended the Manscaped partnership.
Yeah,
and
totally on our end.
Yeah, totally.
We just
wasn't a great fit anymore. We didn't like the money they gave us every month to do stupid ad reads.
On to Gillette or Dollar Shave Club,
yeah,
whichever
Dollar
one
Shave
calls.
Club.
Yeah, maybe Dr. Squatch.
Dr. Squatch.
used
You've
their
been on
products
the
for,
Dr.
sure.
Squatch train for a while now.
Yeah, I was into bar soaps for a little bit. Let's go there, boys.
Everyone has a bar soap phase.
I'm a bar soap guy.
Bar soap's great.
Dude, Yellow Dial. Been a Yellow Dial guy for a long time.
Is this like hand soap?
Like the pre-surgery, like antiseptic type soap.
That's
that they
all.
use?
That's what you get it in like the
Every day.
in like the gallons.
Like no, just
the gallons.
in the
Well,
actual
to refill,
bar.
It's a refill. Oh,
No,
okay.
it's a real bar.
It's a hand soap.
Heck yeah, man.
Oh, it's a bar. Does it not dry your hands out?
Shoot, no.
So that's what you're keeping.
Well,
like,
maybe it does. I did take a picture of my hands a couple weeks ago, and they look
Yeah,
like
you did have the
85-year-old
oldest
woman.
man
you're
hands
saying
I've
you're
ever
washing
seen.
up with that thing.
Shoot, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know you're supposed to do that with those.
Oh, you can't.
The bar soaps have really advanced.
My mom's
Bar
wife.
soaps have
They really
advanced.
have. They're getting like, or they found a way to get like $7 a bar out of these things.
Wife's mom is a chemist. She said it's cool, so we're good.
But they're vegan free and they're made from soy.
No aluminum.
I love when y'all say vegan free, like it's free of vegans.
Yeah. And no dyes.
No dyes and no parabens.
And no cruelty to animals.
Well, speaking of toxic, welcome in to the IDP show. We are non-toxic. We are very
we're
safe.
toxic.
We're vegan-free, paraben-free, dye-free, and cruelty-free right here on the IDP show. We're thankful you guys are joining us here. Little surprise sode. We were supposed to be coming back at y'all here in a couple weeks with our boy Joy the Tooth, but we just had a hankering to see each other. And Jon Macri has welcomed that beautiful baby into the world. Miles Macri has made his grand debut. So we had to bump back the soda with Joey a little bit. So we just said, let us slide on in there and get a big 3 soda in. So congrats to Jon and Olivia on the arrival of Miles. It's a cute baby. We saw the picture in the
Very
Slack.
cute.
It's
Good
a very handsome looking young man.
And it is spelled exactly as Myles Garrett.
Like Miles from the United States Macri.
Yeah. MYLES. So
Let's
yeah,
go.
man, this IDP thing is not a game.
It's not a game.
So yeah, it's shout out to the Macris and yeah, his Miles now joins his older brother Levante.
Levante, yeah.
Levante
Got
Macri.
DeMario on the way. JOK, Jeremiah. Hey, Bobby, that reminds me. You know Mark Sessler famously named his son Colton after Colt McCoy back when that was the Browns quarterback.
Yep.
So you just hope that, unlike Mark getting his heart broken by the Colt McCoy experiment gone wrong, things don't go awry with Myles Garrett and the Browns.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
That would not be good because now you're kind of tied to this, right?
I always thought your brother was going to do something like that. He seemed like someone that was
He
gonna
tried. It was not for lack of trying.
Yeah.
He tried Peyton. He tried
Even Eli.
Colt. He tried Eli. We loved Eli. We were pitching Eli for baby number 3.
Be good.
It's a good name.
he a
Eli
bigger-
Raymer.
He a bigger Colts fan than you?
Yeah, 100%.
Bigger degenerate?
Yeah, 100%.
He's just more passionate. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he listens to the Colts podcast with like Zach Kiefer and those guys.
Probably
so-
like Colts only for him. Like he's not super. Like he's in tune to like normal like
Yes.
NFL
Yeah,
stuff.
Josh has a better like
broader.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
Gotcha.
But Connie is the Colts.
Macro.
Yeah, he's the Colts expert.
Gotcha.
So
Micro. He.
Yeah, macro.
Cotter's
yes,
micro.
he's micro.
Like
Yes.
that.
I'm macro, and then we have Jon Macri. So
Woo-wee!
works out beautifully. Where's Addy? Get in here, Addy.
Woo-wee!
Thank you very much. I have that just video saved in my Dropbox now, just in case we need it.
It's a good.
I can't wait to listen to this in my ears. That's gonna be just amazing.
What, just the scream when he does
Oh,
it
yeah,
here?
just
when
when
he
it- just when it
unleashes it
hits.
at some point?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit it a lot here in a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So we got a good episode for y'all. We're going to touch on best remaining free agent fits. There are actually some IDP relevant dudes out there that do not have a new team yet, despite the fact that free agency started about a month ago. So we're going to hit on some ideal landing spots for, I think it's about 8 big names that are still out there off Greg Rosenthal's Top 101 free agents. You can check that out, NFL.com/Top 101. So we're going to do that, and we are going to hit some mock draft results and do a round of who'd you get. But gentlemen, before we get into the best free agent fits, a couple of announcements for y'all, and y'all have probably seen us talking about some of this stuff over on the Twitter. But early bird pricing, $10, the IDP draft kit ends when the NFL draft ends, April 30th. Soon as that draft is over, make sure you got your IDP draft kit because early bird pricing will be going away starting May 1st. Y'all fellas been working on the ranks for that this weekend?
Yes, sir. Every day.
It's going to be a damn good product.
I think so. I know so, and we're gonna give it our all, and all we do is put out fire. You know
Fire
this. They
content.
know this.
Bobo,
Yes, sir.
you got some good ranks in there as well. I was peeking at your work, and I'm a big fan of it.
You know, I haven't done a ton of redraft stuff before as far as ranks are concerned, but yeah, my mind is a dynasty mind. I sometimes have a hard time turning that off.
This is like, saying, Grandma, maybe do some Sudoku puzzles. Keep your mind sharp.
Sure.
So this is your version of Sudoku puzzles.
Or the little square thing people are doing on Twitter.
Wordle.
Yeah, I don't understand.
There's all
that in
these
the
different
least bit.
variations now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all
I
get
try
to
not-
It's like a brag thing, right?
I'm to the point in life to where it's like I can't. I don't have any more brain space.
Nope.
No, you got more?
No, I'm just saying I've always been anti-phone, like
Okay.
games on my phone. 'Cause
Sure.
I don't need another reason to stare at that thing. So
Gotcha.
I've just stayed away.
Wordle's like a brag thing, though, right?
Yeah, it's just like, look how smart I am. They post their little
okay.
green and yellow and gray boxes. Like,
We have
They
a
don't post them when they're real bad, right?
yeah, exactly.
I don't ever see like
You don't share your worst golf scores, do you?
No, never.
Just the good ones.
we just have a podcast for showing how smart we are.
That's right.
Yep.
How's that going for us?
It's going fantastic.
It's
Gosh,
going
so good.
so good. So early bird pricing, the IDPDraftKit.com ends April 30th, so make sure you pick it up. Also, make sure you're subscribed over at the IDPshow.com. We got some cool stuff cooking for y'all come the start of the season. You're going to want to make sure you're subscribed over there to see what we got cracking later this summer. The IDPshow.com. And make sure you get into Addy's Dynasty ranks. Like we said, once the draft kit launches on June 1st, those bad boys go away until the start of the season. So make sure you check them out now. Also, gentlemen, I'm very excited about this. We're having a draft live stream again this year. The first night of the NFL draft. Some of our best buddies will be dropping in virtually. We'll have John and Joey. Maybe Kyle B. I think Tripp's going to join as well.
Whoever wants.
Whoever wants.
Reach
all
out.
are welcome.
Reach out.
And we're going to have some folks, some surprise guests in the So Check. Some names that you all know well.
It's gonna be a great weekend.
Greg Rosenthal,
yeah.
Mark Sessler.
Nate's here. We
Second
got him
Bloom.
chained in the basement.
Schefter, Ian Rappaport.
Hey, not after the weekend that Schefter
No,
had.
he's
He had a
coming
rough
now.
one.
He's
on the
actually
apology
excited
tour.
about it now.
Yeah.
So he's
He
looking
needs to
forward
redeem
it.
He's
himself.
built
Yeah.
brand again.
Yeah, he said he needed a weekend away, and he's gonna spend it here in the shack. So him and Ian are both actually staying up.
Yeah, the bunk beds that y'all can't see on YouTube right up there, that's where they're going to be staying.
Yeah.
I did love that he issued the apology, right, Schefter, on his podcast, and the first reply to the tweet was like, he wanted to have a heartfelt apology, so he made you go listen to his podcast to get the apology. I was like, okay, yeah, that's kind of a...
He did embed it into the tweet, correct?
But you still have to listen to the pod to get the actual apology.
I think, but it plays right there. Auto plays right there on Twitter.
Yeah.
What do people want him to do?
I don't... It doesn't matter.
What is it?
That's
What do we
the
need?
thing.
Let's fire. We need to fire him.
That's I read this great article today about that of like ESPN can't do anything.
I
The
mean,
dude
yeah.
lost 11,000 followers and he still has like 9.4 million followers.
And they're going to refollow.
Unfortunately, he's the best at getting the sources.
I
and
know
stuff.
that's where it's kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Like I think he could legit murder someone and we'd be like, but I still need them breaking news reports.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
Shifty.
And even with the Twitter analytics now, like you don't have to follow him. You're still going to see it. Twitter's going to make sure, well, Josh liked this tweet from Schefter, and it's like, dang it. I didn't want to see this anymore. But you're going to.
Yeah, the Twitter.com and the Twitter app is just real bad.
Yeah. Schefter's had some. He has, in fairness, he has had some really bad tweets lately. What was the other one that was really bad?
The Deshaun Watson one about this was the day they were waiting for.
That was awful.
that
So
the
he's
truth would
had some
come out.
blunders lately, and yeah, obviously, a bunch of like agent fed tweets.
Probably
That's
where
gross.
a little of opinion bleeds into facts too much. Like, let's just tell us what happened. Leave your opinion out, Schefter.
Well, just stop tweeting directly what stop copying, pasting text messages from agents into your Twitter account. Just, I don't know. Use your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
So anyways.
And rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins. My
Yeah.
God,
I know.
man, Jesus.
That
Just
was
an awful thing.
It was just one of those kind of time stand still moments. Anytime something like this happens. You know?
You wake up to that new, it was like, what, Saturday?
I think so,
Just
yeah.
one of those weird things. You're like, huh? What? You know, you just.
It doesn't seem real.
Yeah, those, athletes, for whatever reason, just seem untouchable.
They do, especially young athletes.
Yeah.
Like, as athletes get older, that can happen. But to be 24 years old, just absolutely tragic.
I liked where he was, too, with Tomlin.
Yeah.
I thought Haskins still had some talent. I mean, I know the whole Schefter tweet, kind of knocked him a little bit, but Haskins was good. I
think
know.
I
He had
think
an
his career
opportunity.
was on an upswing, and it's just sad.
He was competing with Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah.
He maybe had a chance there.
In fairness, I mean, with Schefter, I know, he did link the podcast and whatever. It was what he said was good. I mean, it was, he actually did some reporting on Haskins and got stories from people and found out what type of person he was. So, yeah, it was unfortunate the way it started, but he did kind of redeem himself a little bit.
Yeah, it's I'll always remember, and I'm sure you guys, if you say Dwayne Haskins NFL, the first thing that comes to mind is probably like the funny thing of like taking the selfies when he was supposed to be doing the kneel down. Like, I'll always remember that. That was when he was in Washington, and they were winning a game, and he was supposed to be taking a kneel down, and he was off taking selfies with fans because I think it was his first win as an NFL quarterback. I was like, this is what I would do if I had just won my first NFL game.
Too young, too. 24.
24, man. Tragic. Rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins. So let's hit on some free agents here, fellas, before we take a little break and then do some who'd you get and some mock draft results. So we'll start off kind of top to bottom here. Biggest name free agents, according to Greg Rosenthal. Let's see what you guys think of these fits. I think Aaron's done the prep here. I think he absolutely nailed this first one here. The Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, 6th overall on Greg's list. And Aaron had the best fit as the New Orleans Saints. I agree. Malcolm Jenkins just retired. They brought Marcus May in to fill that sweet spot safety role, but they need someone to fill Marcus Williams' shoes. We know the Honey Badger's an LSU boy, so Bobby, let's bring him on home to the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I don't mind that. It is interesting that he's hanging around this long. I don't know if that's an agent thing or a money thing. I don't know how much he's asking for. The more I've thought about where he left with Justin Reid, the more I'm coming around on Justin Reid DB1 season. That could be incoming. Justin Reid's still so young. But yeah, I don't mind this with New Orleans. Somebody said the other day, let's just go ahead and send out the Tyrann to the Rams tweet, just because
why
that
not?
seems very typical
Why
of the
not?
Rams. But I think there's a lot of teams that could really use Honey Badger right now. The Saints, they're a fine fit. I don't mind that. I don't mind that there.
But if you're a Honey Badger, why?
Yeah.
What are you going to New Orleans for?
Sure.
You know,
I mean, that's
you want
a-
to win at this point in
That's
your
a team that, and I disagree with their kind of self-scouting, but it's a team that thinks they're ready to compete. With
Well,
that
you're not.
trade they made to get 2 first-round picks, it tells me they're either getting a quarterback or they're drafting a couple of impact starters.
Their defense,
They're probably not even going to win their own division.
their defense is still okay. David Onyemata, Cam Jordan, Marcus Williams,
Chauncey Gardner.
Marcus Williams is gone. That's who they're trying to bring in.
Oh, well, Marcus May,
Davenport.
Marcus
is who I'm
Davenport,
thinking
yeah.
about.
Chauncey Gardner. I'm a big fan of.
Demario Davis.
That's what I kind of was hoping they would move Chauncey Gardner to safety
Wow,
more.
that'd be cool.
Plays a lot of slot corner.
But really, they're not too far away from. Well, I guess they are. It's a bad team.
It's
That's
not a
a-
bad team. It's just like a
AK
slightly above average team.
They're Midland, and then the great coach is now gone.
Y'all think AK is going to get a suspension?
What'd he do? Oh, he
He beat the mess out of some dude, and it wasn't like he just beat him
That's
up. Like,
right,
supposedly,
yes. They had those pictures that came out.
he kept beating on him pretty. I think they said he hit like 24, 26 times or something.
Sheesh.
But anyway,
Surprised he hasn't been suspended already.
it seems like if you plugged a good QB in there, they could maybe compete.
Yeah, if that was the Deshaun Watson landing spot, as gross as that is, then that's probably, I mean,
Marquez
right up there
Callaway.
with the Bucks
Oh, yeah.
as far as NFC South favorite.
Yeah.
Adam Troutman.
But they kind of remind me of the Colts. Like, they've got a pretty solid defense. They've got, a decent quarterback, some nice offensive weapons. But that's not a team that I'm worried, think's going to compete for a Super Bowl.
Sure.
They just don't have the pieces to really be a serious contender.
Yeah. That'd be a weird spot for him. But, you get it's the Louisiana connection.
Yeah. And you ask, why is he still on the market? I just don't think he's had the kind of market that he wants. I don't think he's gotten the kind of offers that he was expecting to get.
I think he's probably, asking for a lot of money.
Yep.
No one's willing to pay a safety that much money anymore.
And him in Kansas City was pretty primo. For him, situationally with Andy Reid, he could kind of go and do whatever he wanted to do. Spagnuolo was going to play a bunch of DBs. I don't know where I see him. The Saints will be fine, but I think I'm with Addy. You got to think with his age, he wants to compete maybe again for a Super Bowl. Maybe he wants to be done. I don't know.
I think at this point he's just going to wait and probably pick the team that has a devastating injury sometime in training camp where he can actually snatch back some leverage because he doesn't really have any right now. If the market's soft,
Go the Chargers.
just wait it out.
They got a little money left. They're bringing in some old vets.
That would be sweet. I like Nasir Adderley quite a bit, but that's definitely an upgrade. Derwin and Honey
That'd be
Badger's
sick.
pretty cool.
That'd be fun to see what Brandon Staley could do with him.
How much money y'all have left?
About 30, 40 million. We have, I think, the second or third most.
Wow.
So, and if y'all can't tell from the background noise, it is absolutely coming a gully washer right now here in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Hey, speaking
at
of
you, Josh.
additions, I saw your Chargers, or Staley added, your former Troy Get Your Reader. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
It's fine. It's interesting
It is interesting.
because of the Kyzir White, going to Philadelphia. Kenneth Murray just had off-season surgery on his ankle, I saw last week.
Which was weird. Like, why did he just now get
Yeah,
that?
the timing. That usually is like they try to rehab it and it's just not working.
I guess so.
I'm telling you, though, if you want to give a fifth for Troy Reader, go do it. I know that sounds ridiculous, but the dude gets some muddy stats.
Yeah, he'll have his weeks.
Absolutely, man.
There's going to be injuries. He'll have his weeks.
He'll have some
How
weeks
many
where-
leagues is he actually rostered, though, right now?
Nowhere. I guarantee he's on waivers in a bunch of places.
I bet
Probably
most
so.
leagues he's probably on.
But him and
waivers.
Tranquill, gosh,
Yeah.
I'll take both of them.
I'm liking both of them. Both of them
Absolutely.
are great. Troy Reader's the better value.
That's one thing I thought about. I listened to, I was mowing the other day, and I listened to our free agency pod, the first one after the first little wave hit. And we need to talk about crappier players more. Like, it's fun to talk about these juicy guys, but at the end of the day, you're going to end up, it's week 11, you're rolling out Camus Grugier-Hill,
Yeah.
and he's getting you 11 tackles, and you're like, let's freaking go. I'm a Camus guy now.
Another one, crappy players I was thinking of today, Rashaan Evans. He's someone he's going to be typically drafted as that third linebacker there in Atlanta, but he should be getting drafted just because he's a guy that if there's an injury, he's going to have smash.
Yep.
And get you 120 tackles this year.
Where did Rashaan Evans go? Atlanta?
Yeah, Atlanta with his former DC.
That's right. Did you just say that?
He literally just said that.
Okay,
yeah.
I thought you said somebody else. Oh, you said him. I'm thinking in my head, who's the other guy they drafted last year? Mykal Walker. That's right. I don't know. I had kind of a weird brain thing there for a second.
I think that's everyone's projecting Michael Walker and Deion Jones to be the two.
Nothing
leaders.
has upended that apple cart yet, the Mykal
Yeah.
Walker breakout apple cart yet, but we'll have to see.
But you can't be happy if you got to be a little scared if you saw the news about Rashaan Evans going
yeah,
there.
you're not thrilled.
Joshy, let me analyze this next one for you because
All
I
right.
feel like you have a little bit more to say about him than I do. Greg Rosenthal's 18th overall free agent right now, Jadeveon Clowney. The best fit here for Aaron is the Arizona Cardinals. Chandler Jones got paid in free agency, taking his 800-plus snaps to the neon capital of the world, reuniting Watt and Clowney. Just seems like a great feel-good story to me.
I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, this makes sense to me. There's obviously, familiarity between Watt and Clowney. Yeah, thank you. I know. I get nervous every time I say that word now that I'm going to mess it up.
Give it a
Yeah, that. Woo! Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you getting pumped up about my pronunciation. No, this makes a lot of sense. I also think Aaron has here the Dallas Cowboys as the secondary option. looks like I didn't know they signed Dante Fowler. The Cowboys did.
I missed that too.
Or if Aaron's saying that's the other option that's out there, but
I'll look it up.
I like the Cardinals clearly need someone, right? Because Reddick's gone now. Chandler Jones is gone now. He is in Dallas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A 1 year, $5 million contract for Fowler.
Yeah. I like this though because the Cardinals have traditionally had multiple edge rushers they could depend on, and I don't think they have that. I mean, is it Gardeck season? I mean, what are we looking at here?
I think you're looking at Marcus Golden, baby.
Absolutely.
I mean, no kidding,
Gold
dude.
man.
He's still under contract. I love Bobby's move. Basically, every draft, Bobby's take DL 55. Once he hits that, Bobby's in Marcus Golden range. I love it. I think that he's gonna once again probably have another 8 to 10 sack season.
What was my crazy stat with Greg Rosenthal? Who had more sacks, Marcus Golden or
Chandler
And
Jones.
it was Marcus Golden. Even
Yeah.
with Chandler Jones's crazy 5 sack game to start the year, Marcus Golden he's so underrated. I do kind of like the Dante Fowler signing. That's interesting the more I think about it.
It's fine, yeah. And also he left Atlanta. Someone I'm kind of interested in, Lorenzo Carter.
Yep.
I mean, if he gets the DL tag and sleeper,
He had a nice little run last year.
Nice little ending. He's going to have a lot of opportunity there. There's not much around him.
What's he in RSO? The end?
I don't know.
He's
He's
a
probably a
linebacker.
linebacker.
Is he?
in
Linebacker,
RSO.
yeah.
I got you.
That could change though. With how they do.
So, Joshy, anywhere else you could see Clowney maybe going and, contributing?
I wouldn't mind him for the Colts. I mean, we'll talk about another guy here in just a little bit that Aaron had pegged for us that makes some sense. But, yeah, I mean, Clowney is a lot like Honey Badger in that I think his market was softer than what he anticipated. So it's hard to predict landing spots right now for Clowney because sort of like Honey Badger, I'm anticipating that he's going to sign with a team that has some kind of need. Whether it's a team that makes a trade, ships a player off to acquire some draft capital, makes a cut post-draft, has an injury. There's going to be some dominoes, I think, that are going to fall that get these two guys who have traditionally looked to sign big contracts. I think that's going to be the driving force. So
Clowney had 9 sacks last year, and
he was fine.
Dante Fowler had 4.5.
I just don't think teams want to pay $10 million a year for...
Sure.
That's pretty underrated for Clowney.
Yeah, he's 29. He could help a team out.
I don't think he's ever had double-digit sacks. I think
early in
I
his
think
career.
9 may be his career high.
I know a lot of people were talking, I think maybe even we talked on the pod about will he have more than 4 or 5 sacks this year? Our number was pretty low. I think Clowney's a better player than IDP player.
Definitely.
for sure.
He's one of those that could definitely help an NFL team. How much he helps your IDP squad, I don't know. But, Addy, why don't you talk about this next feller here, a little Melvin Ingram love.
Sure, Melvin Ingram. Aaron has him as the best fit being Kansas City.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, I don't either. Kansas restructured Frank Clark this year, so he's not leaving the team. Doesn't mean they have to play him all the time, though. Kansas City is desperate for pass rush outside of Chris Jones, and Ingram was very solid as a situational pass rusher, piling up 24 pressures and 2 sacks in 9 games last year.
I mean, I think he played well. I remember Greg talking about how well he played for the Chiefs and, why did because the Steelers had Ingram, right? Let him go. And then, because he went Chargers, Steelers, Chiefs, right? Am I getting that right? He was with the Steelers for a hot minute.
You're right.
Yeah.
And so he's like, why did the Steelers let this guy go? This guy's playing really well. So
He was disgruntled there. He wasn't happy with his playing time.
that's right. You're right. In Pittsburgh,
Yeah, he
Yep.
wasn't getting a lot of snaps. And
So-
they have a good rotation. It wasn't really a need. It was rich getting richer type deal.
Yeah, and even though I do like the backup option here, the Baltimore Ravens pair him with Odafe Owe. They bring back Calais Campbell. I don't know if you guys saw that. They brought back
Yeah, it was weird.
the Mountain
Yeah.
of a Man.
Campbell.
What do we think that impacts Odafe Owe season at all?
Absolutely not.
No, but you just love having that in the locker room there for them youngins,
Didn't Campbell move inside a little bit more last year as well? Campbell was not that good, honestly. I don't think. I thought the contract, was bizarre for them. But whatever.
You-
I'm not a huge Melvin. I'm not a big Melvin Ingram guy either. I don't think he really influences the team's
Kind of washed.
D-line very much.
A lot of these guys are pretty washed at this point.
that's why we're getting into sort of the dregs here. But y'all wanted to talk about some poopy compilers.
And I don't think Melvin Ingram really is the type that's like a Von Miller that's like, yeah, I'm going to go help a team like push for a Super Bowl. Like I could see Melvin Ingram going to like the Giants or somebody that just has a bad pass rush, doesn't mind giving him snaps. Move on.
So Jerry Hughes, this is the one that Arn had pegged for first the Chargers. But I love him for the Colts. This is actually, going back in the history books a little bit, the Colts actually drafted Jerry Hughes. He was supposed to be, I think, in the first round. I mean, this was supposed to be like a big-time pass rusher. It never panned out. He had a nice little career in Buffalo. We need pass rush help. We brought in Ngakoue. We still have Kwity Paye, but we need some more optionality there. I love Dio, the second-round pick, I think, out of Vanderbilt that had the injury and played a little bit last year. But we need some solid depth. I think we need some, like a Justin Houston type of presence there, right, that we had the past few seasons. So I would love this for the Colts to bring in a little reunion with Jerry Hughes.
I don't have anything to say about Jerry Hughes.
Yeah, I mean,
He's very rotational,
yes.
even on your IDP team.
Didn't you just say you want to talk about bad
I did.
players?
We're getting real muddy, though. We're getting a little bit poopy.
This is the 31st overall guy that's left.
The cow patties are mixing with the mud, Josh.
He was really good pressure-wise, though, Jerry Hughes. He can still bring it.
Yeah.
I was wishing he got a little more playing time last year in Buffalo. I thought he should have, honestly.
His snap percentage definitely hovered around 30-40% of games, so he didn't play a whole lot. 2 sacks.
They had a
year.
true rotation there in Buffalo.
Yeah. Who's the DNs you want now in Buffalo? You want Von Miller?
Yeah, Russo and Miller.
Boogie Basham?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I'll definitely want him in Dynasty. He's
Deep
really
bench
cheap.
stash, yeah. in
Who's
Dynasty.
inside? Tillery?
They
Mario-
lost a
Mario
ton.
Addison?
No, Addison's gone.
Phillips is gone, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
Calby
in
is
Arizona.
doing the vacated snap report for our draft kit, and I think
Oliver.
Buffalo's
Ed
D-line lost the most snaps out of any position group in the NFL, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow.
It was a ton.
What
Like
was the-
2,900 snaps.
Epinesa
Yeah.
still there? Huh.
That's
Ed Oliver.
that's a deep rotation,
Should take
dude.
a nice leap.
Yeah. Man, and somebody's going to be good there. Interesting.
So, what about-
How are we let's get into this real quick too. I'm still having a hard time with these edges from last year. Who do you like the most out of last year's edge class?
Oh, it's still going to be Jalen Phillips for me.
Yeah?
Yep, he's number one for me as
Yeah.
well.
Who's two?
And I love his attitude. Every like clip I see of him, yeah, he's got it.
Your vibe.
You got the dog in him.
Love that.
What about you, Josh?
I was
Who's
just
next?
I was trying to back up what I said here. So the Bills lost 2,300 snaps
gosh.
off that defensive line. Mario Addison, Jerry Hughes, F.A. Obata, Vernon Butler, Harrison Phillips, Star Lotulelei, all gone.
F.A. Obata.
All gone.
Who? Same again?
It was Addison, Hughes, Obata, Butler, Phillips, Lotulelei.
Yeah.
So I
So
mean,
a lot
that's-
of interior guys, a lot of
Yeah.
guys are probably like, yeah, oh, we hate to see you leave.
Yeah. Take care.
Come on
Yeah.
in, Von Miller.
Yeah, come on
How are
in,
you?
Vaughn.
Good seeing you.
No, for
We don't
me it
mind
is
giving you
Jalen
cash.
Phillips, and number 2 would be Kwity Paye. That's how I have
Oh,
those
yeah, I
guys
forget
ranked.
about Quiddy. And
So-
then there's Owe, Tryon,
Rousseau.
Ojulari, Russo.
It's a nice group. I mean, you could really make a case. I think Phillips is the one. I bet if you polled a lot of folks, he'd probably be the consensus number 1. But after that, you could make the case for a lot of guys, I feel like.
Yeah, it's still so much unknown, man. I mean, I'm excited to see year 2 for a lot of these fellas.
Is JPP still in Tampa?
No,
I
he's
don't
a
think
free agent.
he's a free agent.
He's
Yeah,
still a free
Man,
agent.
Freaking Tryon season.
yeah, he sucked last year.
Yeah.
JPP.
It was bad.
I would love Akiem Hicks, our next guy here on the list, to go back to the Chicago Bears. I don't think it's going to happen, though. They had that Larry Ogunjobi for like $17 million a year or something stupid, and then they failed him on a physical. Like, oh, darn, you stubbed your toe coming into the facility. Larry,
That's right,
we're going to
yeah.
have to fail you. But the Las Vegas Raiders, only 5 teams graded worse at run defense than the Raiders did last year. Of those 5, 4 of them are in the top 5 of the NFL draft and will not be looking at the playoffs this year. Atlanta, Detroit, the Jets, and the Jags. Hicks was good, but not great in run defense last year and performed strongly when rushing the passer too, which would be a nice asset to have in a division with Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert, and Patrick Mahomes. That's some good research right there.
I like that.
I like that
That's a good
fit a
fit.
lot. So
I love Akiem Hicks, real football wise, of course.
Yes.
I mean, he's not gonna. Maybe in your defensive tackle required leagues, he could still be. An
if he
option.
lands in a spot like that,
Yeah.
I'm interested. I'm paying attention. Probably not as like my D tackle one, but
yeah,
nice
but
little rotational piece. Sure.
Hicks is a great piece there, and you love that for everything around him. He just is gonna make the defense better. Gonna have to soak up a lot of attention. Takes up a ton of space. So yeah, he'd be a great fit there.
And think about him lining up with Chandler Jones,
No, that's an
Max Crosby.
That's an all-time front right there.
Yeah, that's a nice looking front. Bobby, is there any more? This just seemed like a slam dunk. I'm kind of surprised it hasn't happened yet. Trey Flowers back to New England.
Yeah, it just seems like the boomerang type trade for not trade, but reunion with Bill Belichick up there in New England. And their pass rush has been pretty bad, honestly. They do have Christian Barmore there on the inside, but on the outside, Matt Judon's been fun as an outside linebacker, but Trey Flowers to me is a little bit more of a true pass rusher. Chase Winovich really fell off a ton last year. There were a lot of people that thought he was ascending 1 year ago. Flowers is still kind of young. He's only 28. A reunion would maybe spur him on a little bit because he had a pretty bad year last year. Is he a good buy right now? If you can get,
I think so. Yeah, he's just
fifth.
Yeah. I mean, he might be out there honestly on some waivers at this point. I'd say a lot of people because he's been. I mean, the injury thing has been
Trey Flowers is on our waivers. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I think John cut him.
He only played kind of 7 games last year.
We're talking about Flowers, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Trey Flowers.
I was looking ahead. Sorry.
He is out on RSO because
Yeah,
I think he's a
waivers, yeah.
linebacker in XFFL.
Yeah, if he's a linebacker, useless.
Useless,
But sleeper, if he's out there, I think he's worth the shot.
I think he could really benefit an actual NFL team. Like I think there's a team who could.
And I like his second option, the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah,
right.
He could be a better.
Lose Clowney.
You got Winovich there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Winovich
So bring
is there
in
now.
another former Patriots guy.
Chase
Star
Winovich
opposite.
Yeah, he went to.
He got traded.
He got traded for Mack Wilson.
Yeah,
Wow,
very
missed that
weird
one.
player for player trade. Those don't happen very often. So
Josh loves that when those happen.
I do. It's fun. You just don't see him that much, So let's hit these couple linebackers here, fellas. Anthony Barr, Addy. Any interest? Is there a spot that you think Barr could land where you'd be sniffing around a little bit?
I'm kind of surprised he's still around. I mean, he's all right.
I will say I trotted out. Not proud of this, but I trotted out Anthony Barr quite a few weeks last year.
He was pretty
Because
good
he was
last year.
just getting the snaps, man.
For fantasy, he probably had his best year.
He had a blow up game that one game.
I mean, maybe the New York Giants. That's a good spot for him.
Yeah. Dude, Barr had some nice games last year. He
did, yeah.
2 double-digit tackle games, and then Week 18, which nobody's really playing in Week 18, but he did have 11 tackles and 2 sacks in Week 18. That's pretty fun. He gets some weird in-between stats, too. He'll get some fumbles forced, interceptions. I think he had 2 picks last year against the Rams. That's right. That's a game I was thinking about. He picked Stafford twice
That's
in Week
right.
16.
Yeah. He had, how many points did he have that game?
He only had 27 points that game.
Only 27 for Anthony Barr. Is pretty
Big 3
good.
scoring.
There we go. I did love this random nugget that Aaron dug up of Leighton Vander Esch is basically a clone of Anthony Barr. LVE's got a little more burst to him, but the measurables are like pretty much identical. Of course, LVE has a much wider neck.
Sure.
His neck picture on Player Profiler
It's
is
something.
It's disturbing.
Yeah,
It looks like a
it's
thigh.
far too big.
No wonder this guy's had so many like neck
Yeah.
and back problems.
Yeah, what has he been up to get his neck?
That's like a Giambi or like a Barry Bonds neck,
He's like done,
something
like-
going on.
He's like been like flexing in the mirror for like something's that's not natural.
Yeah.
The way it's.
I
He's
don't
done
like
something.
it. I don't like it.
You know what you've done, LVE.
Speaking of LVE, what are the Cowboys doing now that Wagner is with the Rams? They're gonna have to do something linebacker wise.
Yeah.
Because it's LVE and it's Micah Parsons and
Jabril Cox
Jabril
coming off
Cox,
the
yep.
ACL tear.
Maybe we see more Micah Parsons at true LB this year. Might have to,
Yeah.
surely they're gonna make some type of free agency.
but they also have a
acquisition.
need at defensive end as well.
Well, what was
Dante
that,
Fowler now will help some rotationally.
What was it that Macri just tweeted out about the usage? That there's some article recently about Parsons' usage for 2022.
You tweeted out that the clearest indication yet is
they're going to move him back to a more true like LB role. He will play less at defensive end, which I disagree with because I think it's harder to find.
I think they're
at the
throwing
end.
people off the scent right now. I think they're saying,
That's
"Oh
possible.
yeah, we're going to use him more at linebacker," and then they're just going to unleash him.
Yeah.
But dear God, man, their linebackers have been so bad. Like, I don't know. If you're in Dallas, I don't know where you need him more. I mean, he's a great defensive end, but their linebackers have been so bad, man.
Go get you Anthony Barr. Dante Hightower's still out there. I mean, this is going to happen, right? They're just going to sign for like 1 year, $2 million, and him and Trey Flowers are going to be back in the New England cocoon, have a huge, season, make some big plays in the playoffs, then go sign like a $20 million deal.
That's where all these guys are going, New England.
Yeah, they just rehab. It's rehab for your career. Just go back to New England.
For real, Trey Flowers left New England, got like $100 million. Now he's going to come back and like sign for like $1 million maybe.
And then go sign another deal next offseason. This is how it goes.
Did nothing with the Lions.
Nothing.
Yeah, they just set that money on fire.
Got the bag in RSO, I think, as well, and just totally flamed out. Didn't do a thing.
Oh, he did?
He was like a $10 million contract.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He was expensive.
He was heavy.
They must not have been listening to the pod. We would have recommended that.
I think he was one of the types, too, that started as a DN and then he got shifted to a linebacker.
He did,
So he got to drop the contract.
Yeah, that was before
he did.
Macri came around.
That's a rule we might need to get rid of.
Yeah, John.
But what about when it benefits you?
Hey.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
So quit asking.
I don't
folks.
hand out any bad deals.
Didn't you just trade a 2024 first to get off Odell?
Quiet.
All right, folks, we're going to take a little break here from our friends at RSO. When we come back, we're going to do a little Who'd You Get and a little bit of mock draft results. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back to the IDP show. Bob, that song always makes me think of you now.
Hey, back on drugs. Why can't I kick the habit?
That's a great question, Bob.
Sir, drugs get a hold of you.
Oh, man. It's off to a
They're
great
fun,
start.
though. They're fun.
We are pro drugs here on the IDP show, if you guys could not tell. Adam's doing the rock out sign. I'm gonna have to put you out in the rain. You're gonna have to pod from outside.
This is not how I thought we were coming back in.
I never know with these two. I'm just like, I'm glad y'all get to see it now. You get to just see, because you miss the chaos as it's erupting in the Sode Shack, because I'm just like keeping the plane, the steady altitude.
Sure.
Try my best, folks.
Yeah.
Keep us on the rails.
Hell of a job.
Doing great, Joshy.
Thank you all. Let's do some Who'd You Get, Addy? You want to scream? You want to cue it up? Everyone's favorite game show.
Did you get?
Oh, the get. Oh, I'm going to have nightmares about that. I should have cut to your camera. I'm mad at myself for that. That would have been a great face.
I was scared. I covered up for that.
I know. I was getting away from the microphone on that one. So who'd you get? Bobo, why don't you kick us off, man? I think you said you had to get to your computer to get all these trades because there had been so many you couldn't look at them on your phone.
Yeah. I'd say probably from the last Who'd You Get, I've got the better part of a dozen, maybe 2 dozen, somewhere in between there, 12 to 24.
Sounds about right.
But in my
Including us?
defense, it's been a while. It's been a while since we played Who'd You Get. So let's talk.
In my defense,
Been a
it's
while.
been 6 weeks since we did Who'd You Get.
It's been a while. You guys
right.
remember that song?
I don't
Play
know.
that drop.
Just play that drop.
Drop.
There's your weekly play that drop, Josh, that you clearly don't have.
We'll get it for next week. Let's run through a couple of these. I traded Justin Simmons, and the 205 received Miles Sanders, 2022 third and a 23 third. I traded Jacob Phillips, a 22 third and fourth, for Ernest Jones, 23 third, fourth, a 24, 4th, and 5th.
Was this before the Bobby Wagner signing or
Correct.
after? Before.
Correct.
Okay. So Ernest was still saving Christmas at this point.
Correct. Traded Cam Akers 2 4ths and 3 5ths and received Juju Smith-Schuster pre-Kansas City,
Nice.
Carson Wentz, who I dropped, and a 23 first.
So you probably have the Chiefs' #1 wide receiver at this point.
One would think. I don't know how people, you can't say that around Kelsey people.
Hey, MBS is listening to this. Who? He's got something to say about that.
He said, yep, Juju's #1. Thank you for asking.
Hey, T. Lizard.
T-Lizard.
I traded Ryan Tannehill and a 23 third, received Tua Tagovailoa, a 22 4th, and a 23 4th. And I traded DeAndre Hopkins, received Matt Judon, Justin Simmons, Calvin Ridley, and a 22 205.
So at the end of this, you come away with
Yeah, so
Judon, Ridley, Tua, Juju, and
Ernest Jones.
And Miles Sanders.
correct, and a 23 first. Yeah,
And you give
You gave Hopkins, Tannehill, Akers. You literally had in the doc originally traded everyone, received everyone,
That's
which is probably accurate.
pretty close to
But you
accurate.
traded away Hopkins, Tannehill, Akers, Jacob Phillips, and Justin Simmons.
So I'll give you
that's pretty good.
maybe some of my background here. DeAndre Hopkins was about 30 mil. Maybe he works out. I don't know. I didn't love him standing on the sidelines in crutches last year. That kind of looked
Well, it's a great time to buy Calvin Ridley.
sure.
The dude is not going to be like just gone from the NFL after this.
Calvin
It's a
Ridley,
gamble.
Yeah, he will have to be
You're fired. You're actually canceled.
he'll have to be a franchise tag too. But I did move the 205 this year just to 2023. I have moved back. I'm kind of holding that 23 first pretty hard. And then the other big sell probably would have been Cam Akers.
Well, okay, so one of the worst trades I had last year was the Cam Akers trade to you, funny enough. So I'm curious now, from what you saw of Akers in those playoff games, what you've listened to and heard about this offseason, what's your temperature on Cam right now?
I don't know.
He did not look great
I love Addy.
at the end of the season for the Rams.
Addy's just taught me don't ever hold on to a running back. For running back, if you can get you a wide receiver or a pick back, let them freaking fly. You can find running backs. You can't find wide receivers. I know there's that whole like postseason, he averaged like 1.8 or 2 yards per carry. He did have some pretty dumb runs. He ran over Buddha. He had a couple little cool wheel routes from Stafford, but they're in the Super Bowl or maybe even the conference championship. They were running Hendo in on third down quite a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if the
Keenan,
I
come on.
I give Keenan too. I'm so sorry, buddy. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the Rams drafted a running back. They were really close to having to roll out Buddy Howell or Jake Funk last year.
Ooh.
Xavier, they had another Xavier guy. I remember what he tore his Achilles, but
Is Sonny Michel still there? Or is he?
Sonny Michel's a free agent. He'll be gone. He'll go somewhere else.
Kind of surprised he hasn't signed somewhere at this point.
I don't know, man. Shout out Lauren. He called me out a couple weeks ago. He actually called me on the phone because I'm old fashioned. I love talking on the phone, especially
Bobby
with
has a
Lauren.
rotary phone, those ones that
Yeah.
spin around.
Never ever call me anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call me. I'll talk to you.
Don't commit the cardinal sin of calling me after I text you. Don't do
That's
that.
the worst,
That's
yeah.
the absolute worst.
But Lauren basically called me out and he said, you just don't really care too much for running backs. You love wide receivers. And I will say I've taken that, a little page from Addy. I love wide receivers. They just hold their value in Dynasty so much longer, especially in a contract league. Some of these guys will get expensive, like a DeAndre Hopkins and a Keenan Allen and Calvin Ridley's a lot this year. But, man, these running backs are just so funky, dude.
To pick up Juju now with the Chiefs, and you have Patrick Mahomes in this league,
Yeah.
and also 23 first,
I just traded Tyreek in this offseason before he went to Miami, too. So, I mean,
which I think is a downgrade for
Oh.
his value.
Got to be a downgrade probably for Waddle as well.
Yeah, I think Tyreek coming in
Waddle was a pretty big target hog
Doesn't
last
help.
year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's no player on this list, Bobo, that I'm like, ooh, why'd you trade him away?
Yeah, I
do
know.
remember you saying though that you were happy to have acquired Justin Simmons. So
Yeah, Simmons is gone.
he gone. He didn't even get to unpack his
He
stuff.
was almost 10 mil, and I'm kind of close on cap. That was a cap deal. And then I moved to 205. I needed a running back. Miles
Simmons
Sanders
was 10 mil.
Yeah, he was pushing. It's like 9.8. He's really close.
Sheeshinator.
Sanders is a lot too. Sanders is like 8. But I don't know. I guess what it boils down to for me is offensively, I just don't think there's going to be a lot of talent at 205. And that's really what I'm there for. I'm not really sticking at 205 to draft one of these linebackers.
I was thinking about that because there is going to be some nice defensive talent in this draft, but geez, I'm thinking about like the linebackers and the DNs, and it's like, yes, dynasty, that's great. You can hold on to these guys, but like, man, if you're expecting these kind of defensive contributors, I've just come to the point where I'm like,
Yep.
I'm not depending on any of these rookies defensively. I'm just not. Like, you need to, even in dynasty, fade more back towards the vets.
Yeah,
We've been burned so much recently by these rookies.
Jamin Davis,
Kenneth Murray, Zaven Collins, Isaiah Simmons.
Devin Bush.
Yeah, I mean,
gosh. It's hard to predict. It's hard to predict. It's not only hard to predict their talent and their skill. I know we talked about this with Mike Woolert, and Woolert's better at this than I am, but it's also impossible to know how these guys, not better than Adam, but it's also impossible to know like how they're going to be used. Adam talked about that a couple pods ago. Like, stop asking us how they're going to use Micah Parsons.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
That was awesome.
it gets
Josh.
madder every time, I feel like.
It was awesome.
He's got a lot of anger in him.
Yes.
A lot of like Will Smith.
Yeah.
What's your nuke temperature right now? You're a nuke guy.
Yeah, I love Nuke. Helped me bring home a ring in the XFFL. Big DeAndre Hopkins fan. But this is a good time to sell. Because not only is he reaching that age 30 cliff, I don't know that Kyler Murray is there next season. I think he could be the Russell Wilson domino. There probably will get a deal done, and this will be a moot point. But there's some friction there. There could also be a new coaching staff. I know they just extended those guys, but couldn't you see the Cardinals bottoming out, going like 6-11, and firing their head coach? I could. I don't think if you asked a single Cardinals fan, they'd be like, yes, Cliff is a great coach. We're like so pumped up to have this dude.
Just extended him though, right?
They did,
Him
but
and GM both.
I don't know if this is this playoff team suddenly bottoms out, finishes last in that division. We'll see.
Dude, in a tweet I'll never forget, one of our best friends of the show, old Kyle with the Fantasy Footballers, Andy, a couple years ago, I think it was at the end of last year, one of the tweets I remember him sending out there was fire Cliff Kingsbury.
Yep.
And that was kind of a real thing that was being talked
That's
about.
what I'm saying. Cardinals fans are not thrilled with Cliff. They think that he holds that team back offensively.
Is it true? This can't be true about what Kyler said about Kym.
No, that was not true.
Okay.
That was like a darn Schefter.
Well, y'all know the depths of Twitter more than I do, but
he literally said, "Get me some help, you bald ass head," or something.
Stop drafting linebackers.
Yeah, stop
First
drafting
round.
linebackers.
Little Aaron Rodgers Jr. over there.
Yeah.
Fantasy Gazette. That's a good account.
There you go.
Doesn't it seem like, before we go to Addy, doesn't it seem like there's a lot of teams in the NFL right now that have a lot of like first round picks? Like they can make a pretty like
I think
move.
I was listening to the Athletic Football Show. I think they said there are 3 teams that have multiple picks in the top 10 next year.
Wow.
Or like projected top 10 picks, like multiple first rounders.
Dude, and I know we've already talked about it off mic, but this 23 class is going to be fun.
Be good.
I think unlike this season where we're probably not going to see the quarterbacks go at the top, I think you're going to have Stroud and Bryce Young as the 1 and 2 next year in some order.
And that's what helps push a lot of these players to the 205. 2020, I drafted Michael Pittman at the 207, I think. I even remember on that pod, I had talked about at the 107, I took Justin Jefferson, but I had thought about taking Michael Pittman because I thought he was such a talented dude. And then he got compartment leg syndrome, and I kicked him to the curb as fast as I could because that worried me.
That's right.
Didn't he have that for a minute, or was that Lockett? Lockett had it too, I think.
I don't remember.
Either way.
It could have been both.
Speaking of, though, someone that I want on all my teams, Pittman. I'm
Yeah.
going to be targeting him in a lot of drafts.
I mean, it was Warren Sharp, I think, put out the Colts wide receiver targets tweet today. It was like Michael Pittman, 100-something. Ashton Dulin was second with 22.
Yeah, and then you get the upgrade, though, with Matt Ryan. It's
Yeah,
nice.
exactly. I mean, this is a great buy low opportunity on Pittman because I do think we'll go wide receiver. If I was a betting man, I think the Colts go wide receiver at 42 or whatever pick they have, 47. They're somewhere in the 40s in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a primo landing spot for a wide receiver.
Jahan Dotson, Christian Watson.
Pickens could be there.
Yeah.
This wide receiver class is like stupid deep.
Are you buying the whole like Cooper Kupp and Stafford thing with Ryan? Ryan and Pittman are getting coffee every morning. And,
Oh, wow.
Have you heard that? Kinda
I
doing the
like
whole
it. I
Cooper
thought
Kupp
you were
thing.
going to say, are they going to bring in Julio Jones for a reunion? I wouldn't mind that
They
as
should.
well. I think
Julio
we're going to
Bones.
add a free agent, and I think
he's
we're
still
going to
out
draft
there,
somebody.
right? That's crazy.
And we need a tight end as well. Unless,
Mo Alley.
we got Mo Alley Cox.
out there.
But, I'm going to have to cancel
Hey,
you.
did you finish your trades? I got some to get to.
Yes, I was
Let
going
it
to
rip,
say,
Patty
Addy,
Chip.
hit us with your, who'd you get?
All right. That yours?
Huh?
Original? Let it rip, Hater Chip?
Oh yeah, OG.
Here's what I say to that.
All right, so me and Macri made literally all these trades. That's
Y'all
wild.
made some
That's
trade
weird.
babies.
That is all these are me and
We're
Mac.
doing an audit of that.
Yep.
what's going on there?
No, don't look into it.
You smell something, Bobby?
Yeah, you have the
Smells like collusion.
you have the umbrella to Slack. You can get in their DMs, right?
Yeah, I can
what's
see
going on.
anyone's Slack
That's what I
messages.
thought.
All right, so in Unreal Tournament, I traded away Max Crosby. He's in love with the boy Max, Triple
right.
X Max.
I'm telling you, that's going to be his first pick in
That
the
is-
in the All 22 league.
That is, quote, his guy, right?
Yep. Surprised he didn't name his kid Max Macri. Oh, dude.
Oh man,
pretty good.
massive mistake,
Yeah,
John.
it's kind of messed up. If you say you love Max like you really do, still got a chance.
Max,
still got a chance.
Max Owusu Koromoa Macri.
You see his birth certificate and like
It's
his
crossed
miles
out,
is
yeah.
like really rubbed out.
He does the triple X just as a nod to the IDP show.
All right, but I'm pretty deep in here at defensive line. So I sent Max Crosby for Juju Smith-Schuster.
Love that. Was this pre or post?
This was
Chiefs?
after the Chiefs trade.
Yep. I
Wait,
think
who-
that's a fair price to pay for Juju.
Who'd you send?
Max.
Max Crosby.
Who were your
Oh,
other
nice,
DNs though?
nice.
Let's pull it up. I know I have Randy Gregory.
This is Unreal. You said.
Yes, this
Okay.
is.
While he's pulling it up, what's a perfect year for Juju? How many receptions? How many yards?
I mean, I think my mind always goes touchdowns first
Sure.
for, wide receivers. I think I'd be disappointed if you got less than double-digit touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
I mean, 10 touchdown season in a 17.
I mean, yeah, you think that
Game
offense,
season?
you would hope so. I'm seeing I'm going to be happy if we're looking at 80 catches for 1,100 yards and 7 to 8 touchdowns.
That's
yeah,
probably
I think
more-
that's realistic. I think the ceiling is
That's what you're hoping for. That's
if
almost.
Mahomes throws 40 touchdowns, how do those kind of get distributed, right? Like
Yeah.
if Juju
30
is
are
the,
going to Kelsey, and then you're going to have who gets the scraps.
Well, then while we're talking about Kyle B
scraps.
with the vacated tackles and stuff, you think about vacated snaps. Well, and also tackles, but you think about like Tyreek's gone. I don't know what he had last year. Mykal's still there, but then Byron Pringle's gone, and then Rock Hands, Demarcus Robinson
He's gone
is gone
too,
as
yeah.
well. So somebody's gonna have to catch the ball.
They got to bring that's where Julio should truly go, dude.
Yep.
That would be sick.
I'm with you, Eddie. On
Ooh, the perfect one there is Odell. You don't need him right away. Let him sit. Bring him in like November. Give him fresh legs for the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let that fly.
Yeah,
That'd
if
be
you need
fun.
a receiver, man, and you're a contender, I mean, that's pretty good.
I saw a fun stat about Mahomes, like with and without Tyreek, like the games where Tyreek didn't play, and everybody's like all worried, and it's like Mahomes is still pretty dirty. Like even when he's throwing to like hard hands and like Mykal, like
He'll be fine.
he's gonna be all right. Juju should be fun though. It makes me want to fade Kelsey a little bit. I know all these Kelsey guys are like, oh, Tyreek's gone. But it's like, man, Juju doesn't play that Tyreek role. Like, Tyreek's going to be Juju's going to be in the middle of the field. I don't know. I think this might be the year that
This
Kelsey
is going
kind
to
of.
be a weird permutation of this team.
Yeah. It'll be strange.
All right, Addy.
The reason why I felt comfortable sending him off, I have Daniil Hunter, Randy Gregory, Cameron Hayward, Charles Harris,
And it's D-line.
and a D line.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Gregory's in Denver now.
Yes. So yeah, that was
like it.
was a fun trade. The other one we linked up on. So in this league, this is RSO. This is cap league, of course. I got into a bad situation with Odell Beckham and his cap number. It was
Bad situation with Odell Beckham. And given this pod's history, I'm wondering what's happening in this room, in this locker room.
He did some things.
Yeah, it's appropriate he was with the Browns. Let's just put it that way.
No, but he was very expensive. So I think he's the highest paid player in our history, right? He was someone that I drafted from the original startup.
Was he?
You
high?
extended him, right?
I extended him.
Yep.
It was like a 4-year, $160 million contract I gave him.
Because he was close to 40 this year, right?
His cap number was like almost $40 million. Yeah.
Mm.
So again, this is the cap in the league is what, $208 million.
$208 million. Yep.
So this dude was almost a quarter of my cap.
Not great, Bob. Not
Not
even on a
great.
team coming off ACL. Even throwing him on IR, you're still biting 20 mil.
Can't have it.
Dude.
So I had to send him. I had to get rid of him. So to do that, it was like basically the Brock Osweiler deal.
I was going to say, this is the Osweiler
Yeah.
deal. You're just paying a pick to have someone eat the salary.
I paid a 2024 first, which is pretty steep. But again, I'm getting off of $40 million in cap. I've got guys I've got to extend, or I need to have a chance at extending them. And it just you got to have cap. You need it to. You just need it. You always need cap in that.
You don't
league.
want to be the Falcons, where you literally have like 24 players on your roster,
Yep.
and you're got about $600,000 in cap space.
And there's still some. We have a free agent auction coming up, so there's still some talent in that pool. So I can still get some. I can still get somebody. I mean, I can be a player and still.
you
come
could
away
go
with
get
a few
Odell
pieces.
back.
I could get it.
Did John cut him or just IR him?
So he's gonna IR him because
Okay.
when you IR in there, that frees up their salary. But either way, I could go get him back if I wanted to. There's like Diggs out there, Christian Kirk out there. So I mean, we have money to go get guys now.
And here's the thing.
still get assets.
Bobo, as you know very well, you can go get those picks back.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's 2024. We got a couple years.
I can go acquire some players, acquire some assets, and then flip those guys for picks.
That's right.
That's how it works.
Picks don't get you points, is what the way I think about it. If somebody's coming with something that's a decent offer for a first, a little different, but second, thirds, fourths, fifths, when you make a bunch of trades, don't even worry. I don't even worry about like, what did I have picks wise when I started? Because I don't know.
It all comes down to wash.
I mean, you can hit on some of these guys. Like, I love Lauren. Maybe the best pick in the XFL history is Darius Leonard in the 4th.
I think he was a third.
Okay.
I think he was like the 308 or the 306.
Either way, those things are still pretty rare. Addy, two things. Odell needs to stay in LA because LA, I mean, I know he's not going to start the year, but outside of Van Jefferson's not good, but B, outside of Kupp and Allen Robinson, they don't have anybody. Tutu Atwell, sorry, Josh. Maybe he works out, maybe he doesn't. But then they started Ben Skoranek in the Super Bowl. People forget about that. And then the other thing is, if he hadn't gotten hurt, would you have played him on your team, or cap-wise he was just too much?
Nah, still would have probably put him on IR.
But what would he have done if he hadn't got hurt? Let's just project.
I think you're IRing him regardless, right?
No, but let's not
Yeah.
say that.
But either way, who cares?
Let's say he's in sleeper and he's not a cap whatever, and he hasn't torn his ACL.
He came off. He was healthy. What type of full year
and
are we projecting?
He stays in LA.
Stays in
What could
LA.
he have done?
I think he would have been a 1,000-yard receiver.
Even with Robinson and Kupp there?
Yep.
Dude, absolutely.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, he's gonna have.
He's the
he would
third
have.
banana.
He wouldn't have. If he would have been healthy, he would have had more rapport than Allen Robinson. He's better than Allen Robinson too. Now he tore his ACL, so it's all doesn't matter.
Shout out Dynasty Sneeko, but he kind of thinks that people are going to realize Allen Robinson kind of took a step back last year. Like he doesn't have kind of what he
I
had.
think he took a step back because he was just like, man, screw this. Like this team sucks.
Yeah,
It's been a career full of that. A
Yeah.
career full of just being let down and having to play with bad quarterbacks.
I'm really interested to see now, what does he look like with the best quarterback he's ever played with?
Hard
by
to
far.
that's the same thing with Odell. Everyone's like, Odell sucks. No, dude, he just was in a
Yes,
really bad situation.
If he had not torn up his knee and was back in LA, yes, he's second banana behind Kupp.
Dude.
But yeah, coming off the ACL, if he comes back now, yeah, he's like a late season addition, catch a couple touchdowns, start him in your flex.
Exactly how it was this year.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dude, think about how many targets Cup's going to have this year.
I know.
It's going to be insane. They have no one. They don't have anybody to catch the ball.
Is he? He's an easy sell, right? I mean,
Wait, so you saying it might be 2-2 season?
No, it's not going to be too.
maybe.
Maybe.
For dynasty. I mean, obviously, Kupp is going to still have another. He's going to be elite this year.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's getting up there in age. I do love the way, he's going to age. He's going to be able to be productive until he's 33, 34.
So supposedly,
But he's worth a ton right now.
he is worth a ton, and I guess it just depends on what type of team you are. I mean, if I can go and get Kupp right now, I'm going to get
If
him.
you're a contender, right, you got to.
You got 2 years.
What are you trading for him? 2 first?
Oh man, that's tough. Probably not 23 first. Probably at 24 first. At 24 first, sure. I don't care.
I don't think anybody's taking that.
That's 2 years from now.
Give
you
it
don't
a
think
couple 22 first, yeah.
You don't think anybody's taking 24 first for a Kupp?
No. If you had like a throw in.
You're going to have to give a little something now.
Yeah, you're going to have to give a 2022, probably 222 first. God, that is really tough. A couple 22 first. How about that?
So supposedly he has some place up in Washington where he teaches and like studies how to like avoid injury, like in wide receiving, like how to fall, how to take tackles. Have y'all heard anything about that?
I believe it. I mean, after hearing him talk and
Yeah.
yeah, he
it's
seems
probably
like
something like parkour. I mean, that's essentially what parkour is.
yeah.
It's learning how to fall, right, and not kill yourself.
Sure.
So he's doing the opposite of what Aaron Donald is. Aaron Donald famously like doing knife fights.
And
in the
quarterbacks
offseason.
do that stuff too, like to know how to take a fall when they're getting sacked and stuff.
The most embarrassing stuff with Kupp last year was when he would just haul in a 60-yarder and then pick up the DB. It's like, hey, bro, I got you. I know I just like flossed you out here.
That was sort of like Luck always saying like good hit when he would get just good hit.
Phil Rivers out there. What the heck, man?
Yeah. Miss Philly ribs. I'm excited though.
Yeah, have we talked this much? We talked Matt Ryan very much? I don't think we have.
Not a lot, but yeah, I mean, it's obviously an upgrade over Wentz, and I mean, you gotta love Ballard finessed that situation pretty well, turning Carson Wentz into 2 third-round picks, one of which can become, I think, a second.
Carson Wentz is making so much money next year.
And it's all the stories coming out like Washington was bidding against no one. They didn't have to give up literally anything because Wentz was going to be cut by March 19th, but they paid a premium basically to just ensure that they got him, even though probably nobody would have been after him. They could have signed him for nothing.
How much do you think the week before the whole Wentz deal, there was that quote unquote offer from Washington to get Russell Wilson, and there was supposedly like multiple firsts?
Yeah.
How much of that do you think was Russ being like, nah, we ain't playing in Washington?
I'm not going to Washington. Are you
100%.
kidding me?
Had to have been, right?
No way. That team's not as, ready to go as the Broncos are. So I think that was the panic move. The Commanders were like, we got to get somebody.
Yeah.
Let's just go get Wentz. But for Reich to be able to get multiple picks and have them take on his full salary and then turn around and wait it out and land Matt Ryan basically for nothing. I mean, I think for the 3rd-round pick they got in the Wentz deal,
Yeah,
that's a finesse.
I almost feel bad. You feel bad like when you just
fleece someone in a trade.
you
if
feel
it
a little-
was
a
anyone
little bad.
but Washington.
yeah.
Who
You're like, dang,
we didn't talk
they're
about
dumb.
this.
They're dumb.
This was
well.
yeah.
Well,
Oh, moving on.
Good luck,
Next trade.
Commanders.
Yeah.
I mean, what about that? Also, I think about that picture they released of Carson Wentz in that
that Letterman jacket.
and just looking like the biggest goober of all time.
He
Like,
looks like the guy coming back to your high school reunion in his old Letterman jacket.
no.
Yeah.
My tweet was the best. The one with him in the yellow jacket that his wife like found or something from something he'd wore. And I think I quote tweeted it. This is the closest Carson Wentz will ever get to the Hall of Fame. Like it looked like a Hall of Fame jacket.
Bobby. That is true. That is absolutely true.
Hey, what about how are we valuing Judy and Sutton and Tim Patrick this year?
oh yeah, wheels up.
You think so?
Yeah, for sure.
There was a story today that making Russell Wilson comfortable is a huge priority. So that's, I think, bodes well for what they want to do on offense.
I'm really interested to see how he's. They let him finally sling it, let him cook. We've never really seen him, unleashed in an offense.
No finger injury, fully recovered, new set of weapons. I did want to bring up, though, with the Washington Commanders, just real quick. Did y'all see this? I think it was a news dump maybe a couple Fridays ago that Daniel Snyder was basically skimming money off the top from like ticket revenue.
Oh yeah, there was like 2 separate books or something apparently.
Yeah, so Snyder's about to be run out of town.
Yeah,
There's not much that you can do to get basically the boot as an NFL owner, but I think we may finally be getting that weasel out of there.
It's time.
It's time. It's way past time.
He put up
This on top of everything else.
and the name Pryor stayed for so long.
And he was like, no, I'm not changing it.
Yeah. Why? Why are we putting up a fight?
And then the
that-
whole sexual, harassment allegations and that whole thing. He's basically away from the team. Goodell has said, like, you are not allowed to have anything to do with this team right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Good riddance.
I think there's some
Snyder.
suspensions coming. I think AK could be in a little trouble.
July 4th. That's typically when they drop. They do the news dump.
Good call, Josh.
Right before the holiday weekend.
bombs.
Yeah.
I love that.
I
I
thi-
love that.
I think Dalvin Cook
what
could
I
maybe
said.
Dalvin could see a little trouble. Maybe.
Uh-oh, not Dalvin. Not Dalvin.
Don't care. Hey.
But to quote the late, great Connie on Daniel Snyder.
And I gotta say, that dude stinks, baby.
All right, one last trade,
There's
boys.
another trade? I thought we were moving on. Hit me with that last trade, Addy.
All right, yeah, mine and Macri's final trade.
God, y'all did another one?
This was all three of them were me and Mac. We're I don't know what's going on between us, man.
Yeah,
Something's
seriously.
going on. Should we move in together, Mac? I don't know, dude.
Addy moves to Canada. We have to remote him in for every episode.
All right, Irv Smith. I send off my boy Swervin' Irvin, Justin Herbert, and a 2024 second for Rashad Bateman and a 2023 fourth.
I remember now. This was
steep.
This was the big one.
This was steep. This was probably, I'd say most people would say, wow, Adam, you're paying a lot here.
So give them the background. You also have quarterback,
I have Trey Lance,
and you're a big Lance guy.
big Lance guy. We're about to see, we're about to see it. We're about to see why I'm a big Trey Lance guy. I also have Kirk Cousins backing Trey Lance up,
Sure.
who is awesome for fantasy. He's a top 10 option for fantasy.
Let's go ahead and bring Josh in on this one. The Hollywood Brown owner. So Hollywood, Bateman.
I like them both.
Yeah.
I like them both. Like
Y'all are both Lamar guys.
I'm a Lamar guy. I've always been in the camp that Lamar can pass. He can be fine for his receivers for fantasy.
Yep.
Or his receivers can be fine for
Hollywood
fantasy.
was like wide receiver 1 the first few weeks of the season
He
last
was
year.
great. He was really
tearing it
good.
up.
He was awesome.
Let me also give you this little snippet as well.
Then he got hurt, right? He
Rashad
missed-
Bateman was hurt to start the year. He
Yeah.
had an ab injury, which those things linger. It was like a core injury.
Don't forget last year, Mark Andrews had 107 receptions, 1,300 yards, and 9 touchdowns. In RSO, he had 312 points. The next closest was 264, Travis Kelce.
Wow.
Was Lamar?
Yeah.
And
Uh,
what, like
No, it was,
10?
With Mark
no, it was
Andrews.
Mark Andrews.
Oh, Mark Andrews was absurd last year.
Yeah.
Is Andrews a good sell?
I mean, coming off that kind of season, yeah.
Yeah.
Just fade that ridiculous finish.
No.
Holding.
Yeah, he's 25.
Tight ends, you kind of.
Lamar loves him.
Yeah.
And they're both going to be locked up there forever.
I understand what you're saying. It is. I mean, if somebody came with something monumental, the other situation of selling a tight end is there needs to be somebody else involved, young, that's up and coming. Like you're probably not moving a Kyle Pitts for him, but there better be like a T.J. Hawkinson or I don't know, something else with some picks.
Yeah.
Tight ends.
Yeah,
are
it
just
depends
tough.
on the trade. I mean, I'm not just
Sure.
giving them away for like future picks, but
When is Baltimore going to pay Lamar?
that's been the
coming
big
up.
Yeah, that's been the big news story. The owner is like Steve Biscotti was like basically I think it's Biscotti. I think Biscotti's the cookie. Steve Biscotti was like,
Soto.
we are trying our best to re-sign and extend Lamar Jackson, and it's a one-way communication right now.
Huh.
There's been a lot of rumblings that Lamar Jackson is going to go the Kirk Cousins route. 2 franchise tags, hit the open market, make about $1 billion.
Wow.
So that's just the rumblings. But I would not be surprised. I think that's a good way to use your leverage as a quarterback. Now, it's a gamble, especially as a running quarterback.
I know. Yeah, that's the thing. You almost would. I'd prefer long term for Lamar. I'd probably want to get a 5-6 year deal with a lot of guaranteed money.
But I think it was Warren Sharp had this tweet as well. Like Kirk Cousins has, for 7 straight years, had his full contract, or maybe it was 4 years, 5 years. It was a significant number of seasons in a row. He had his salary fully guaranteed.
Oh yeah, it's worked out good for him.
He's played it. He's in the business Hall of Fame when it comes to the NFL.
He's the everything goes right example.
Yep.
But there is still risk there.
There's the flip side.
Yep.
I think they'll get a deal done, but just something to keep an eye out.
As far as back to that trade, it is tough. I mean,
It's a lot. I mean, Herbert's a baller. He's going to be a top 5 dynasty quarterback for. I mean, it's a 1 quarterback league. I guess I don't know if I mentioned that, but
You're putting a lot of faith in Bateman, but
I like Bateman a lot.
Bateman could be a freak.
Yeah, and if and his game is going to work well with Lamar. I mean, Lamar can sling it, but I think Lamar is actually really good with those short, intermediate passes, and that's kind of where Bateman. He's like Keenan Allen type receiver, Shaw Bateman.
And Macri was kind of smitten with Bateman last year.
Yeah.
I don't know that he overdrafted him, but that needs to be said that Macri, he likes Bateman also.
It was a 108, 109 range. I think he took him. So yeah, it was hard to. I mean, I had to pay up for him. I mean, I think if you plug that in calculators, I probably lose. But again, I had the depth at quarterback. I wanted to get younger receiver. Bateman's kind of a guy that I still feel like people, the market may be a little behind. Maybe.
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah.
The move though was now sleep deprived. You got this little sweet spot of a window before your second baby arrives. His is here.
Probably could have saved a second.
Yeah,
I didn't think that through.
Yeah, sent over like a subpar offer, like real late at night.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you're up feeding the baby anyway. Just wanted to send you this trade.
Right. Yeah, he's going to be so happy with the baby. He's not going to be thinking.
Yeah,
about
he's
it.
going on 45 minutes of sleep.
Except.
Yeah, whatever. He accidentally touches accept, and I'm like, sorry, John.
Sorry,
You
man.
can't reverse it.
I get really freaky about that. Like, oh gosh,
Dude, every time I go to
Scared.
hit the decline button,
Like, let's
I
zoom.
make double sure I'm pushing the right one.
Talking about on the app.
Yeah, like on my phone.
on
I always
Safari.
hit the one above. On the RSO app, you ever notice they need to fix that? We'll talk to you, RSO.
I just
Love you
get real
guys.
worried because I'm always afraid the website page is going to shift. Like go down and I'm going to hit the wrong button.
Yeah, it's a scary.
So-
Those are always
Get a little sweaty
nerve wracking.
Always
accepting
scary.
or declining those trades. So.
Yeah, I offered Josh a little trade. He definitely hit the decline button on it. Let's talk
Hey.
about who'd you not get.
Yeah.
He's a tough one to deal with.
Yeah, tough
my
cookie.
team's just in a weird place in that league. I'm not quite sure how I want to play that one yet. We'll see. We shall
Sounds
see.
like what everyone says for they throw it into a rebuild.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, can Kyle B handle another team?
Oh man,
Who has commish privileges in that league?
Oh, you're gonna get out altogether.
Yeah, just all together.
just boot?
Just gonna get into
Just
some,
stop playing.
Yeah.
Well-
Just gonna get into blockchain and
Nuke the dictator.
cryptocurrency.
That's a great choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Another great choice is to do a mock draft with the IDP show. We had one that we talked about an episode or two back, and now we've got another one. So this first one, I like how you labeled these, Addy. Pre-free agency mock draft, post-free agency mock draft. And we got the website or the spreadsheet pulled up. Y'all did it through Sleeper.
Yeah, we're gonna also link this on the site. We need to put this out there for folks.
Will
to
you
take a
pull
look
up
at.
the actual draft board so we can give some love to our drafters? It was some of the same folks, but I will say, Bobo, right off the top here, the IDPs went about the same place that they went in the pre-free agency draft, but we did see Aaron Donald jump up to that 101 of IDP.
Who could that be?
I don't know who these picks are. Was that you, Bobo?
You know who did that? That was your boy IDP
But
Bob.
Myles Garrett was the 603 D lineman 1 in the previous one. Aaron Donald D lineman 1 512.
Yeah.
So just a little bit different.
These mocks are mocks for a reason. Just try stuff out,
'Cause
see
we
what
will
you
mock you for
like,
them.
see what you don't like. I did want AD to be the first drafted defensive end off the board. I went weird with that draft. We're not like we're going to run all these down, but I went Cup and Lamb with my first 2 picks, then Kelsey and Kittle, then Donald and Garrett. So
What you doing there, Bob?
trying something up a little.
Oh, so you went
little-
Donald and Garrett back to back there.
Donald was the
512,
512.
He started.
601.
He
Garrett was the
started
601.
that was the first IDPs taken.
And that was a little different than most of the drafters. We got a lot of people like Adam that were kind of trying to hold out and see who
This
could
was
be
the one where your
last.
strategy got blown up, didn't
Yeah,
it?
there were like 4 or 5 people doing the same thing.
But in a typical draft, shout out to my boy J Ball for jumping in, doing a mock with us, and I kind of had to drag him in because he's like, man, I don't really know a whole lot about IDP. It's kind of like perfect, It would be great to kind of analyze somebody who doesn't do a whole lot of IDP drafts. But that was his first question is, when do I start looking at defensive ends or linebackers? He inherently knew to not overdraft defensive backs. But, you can make a case for if you want to be the person that just locks and loads at the end, sure. 6th round is where they're going to start going at. If you want to be a guy who's got a big old set and just wait till the 10th.
Did he just compliment your nut size?
Yes, sir.
Get
Everyone
it.
knows it.
Woo! Why?
Get in Adam's DMs and he'll tell you about it.
Yes, sir.
Nuts specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the other thing that jumps out to me here about this draft is that Rashan Gary, the guy that we said probably went a little high for the pre-free agency mock draft when he was DL5 and the 7th overall IDP taken, he fell all the way down, not super far, but to the DL12, the 19th overall IDP off the board. So
I think that's just proper form. I think
Yes,
he just
that
got
feels right.
overdrafted
Yep.
a little bit in the first one, which is fine. So I'm glad to see people excited about him, and you should be. I mean, but yeah, I think DL 10 to 12. That's more where you want to take a guy like that.
let's give some love. Who were the folks in the draft with us here?
So yeah, this was Joey the Tooth. Join us again for this one. Our boy Evan Ronda. I'm not sure who Ashton is. Did any of you guys know who that is? Shout out Ashton.
happy
friend
to
of
have
Evans,
Ashton.
I think.
Yeah, happy to have Ashton in the draft.
Johnny the Greek, our boy PFF Macri, Turner Sykes, Kyle Belly, Fuel, Boo Bam, Jordan Ball, Z-Mags, and Bob and your boy.
That's a motley crew right there.
It's a good group. Yeah, everyone in here knew their stuff. And even the ones that may have been a little new, I think they were getting some nice assists from some of the other drafters.
I was going to say, Bobo, what did you think of J Ball's performance here?
Yeah, man.
New
so
to IDP.
let's pull up J-Ball. He went Derrick Henry, Debo, then Mahomes at 3, which I love grabbing Mahomes, after Josh Allen. Terry McLaurin, Aaron Jones, Michael Carter, and then he starts the IDP run.
I'm curious who his first IDP was. Did he go linebacker first?
He went defensive line.
Ooh.
Very much Jon Macri style. He went Max Crosby.
Max Crosby. Okay, so he took the DL8 and the 12th overall IDP off the board. Good choice by your boy.
Absolutely. Then comes back DeForest Buckner in the 9th, Zaven Collins, Xavier McKinney, and then goes Buda Baker to kind of start his draft off. So
Okay.
Jordan knows what's up. He knows good players. And the sneaky one there, too, is Xavier McKinney. Most new IDP players are not going to, you're going to do the whole, let's look back at 2021 production. Xavier McKinney's not going to be up there super high. But talked to my boy Dynasty Sneeko a little bit today about Xavier McKinney. And if you think about, I know Logan Ryan's still there, but now Jabril Peppers is gone to New England. Xavier McKinney kind of started coming on late in the year.
And keep this in mind. I'm hearing this as well. They don't play the same position, but James Bradbury is a very likely restructure or cut candidate. My dude is owed $21.8 million against the cap this year.
Wow.
Their
And while-
second highest paid player.
That's nice. And while I'm thinking of it, if you're looking for someone to maybe take a step up in value, Julian Love.
Yep.
That's a guy that's very versatile. He should have a much bigger role.
Especially if Bradbury gets the boot, which I fully expect him to be off this roster before the draft. So should be a nice little bump in value there for the DBs that are left on the Giants depth chart.
Who you like, Josh? For the first, let's go for the first 20-ish IDP picks of either round. Any of these that stand out to you as somebody that you really like? I'll start this off. I disagree a little bit with Rashan Gary post free agency. I think Rashan Gary needs to be a little bit higher. I'm not so sure that I don't want Rashan Gary more than Fred Warner. Jordan Brooks is still pretty tough.
mean,
I want him more than Montez Sweat.
Yeah, I do too.
I think you have I'm probably taking, man, that's really tough because I'm looking at Danielle Hunter. That's going to be
About the break.
We haven't looked at flag plants yet, but man, Danielle Hunter 2022 just feels like DN1 overall DN1 season incoming for Danielle Hunter.
Wow.
I'm all in. So yeah, I think that's about the cutoff point for me. I think you could knock him up one spot.
Were you happy to see your boy Devin White that high? LB4 post free agency, and then LB4, wow, pre free agency.
That's right. I mean, that's the top four.
That's
for
the
me.
order, yeah.
Yep. Micah Parsons, Darius Leonard, Roquan Smith, Devin White. That's
Now-
exactly how I would have it.
Although, when does Jordan Brooks start creeping up into that?
I mean, he
Can't you
should
see it?
be.
Don't you think that maybe someone's going to start
It's gonna happen.
penciling him at 4 instead of You know,
I think
I was
so.
going to say, who was LB5 here? It was actually, looks like it was Jordan Brooks.
It was Brooks. That's typically how you see it. Usually it's those top 4, and then it's Jordan Brooks.
I mean, he was LB, 3 last year?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like,
And now
that would
Bobby
actually
Wagner's gone.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner's gone.
Oh
Devin White still has Levante there.
I mean, you could make as strong a case as anyone for Jordan Brooks being the LB1 overall next season.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
absolutely.
for Dynasty, I'm just saying finish.
Oh, yeah.
That would be probably the betting odds favorite because weirdly enough, the Seahawks have played more defensive snaps than any other team for like several years now. That stat typically does not translate one year to the next, but this one for the Seahawks has for some reason. So does that change now with Drew Lock or, Malik Willis?
Either
they have
way,
a quarterback.
he's gonna rack up a ton of tackles.
He's going to play a
He's
ton.
locked and loaded, man.
Yeah. Yeah, the Devin White stuff is interesting. Devin White was kind of, just depending on your scoring, was probably LB 10 to 15 range last year.
He's just not getting the tackle numbers that the other guys are getting. Like, the Leonard and Roquan, those guys are having like 10-plus tackle games frequently.
White had 87 solos last year and 41 assists.
Still great.
I will say the thing we've talked about a lot this offseason is like the cliff for DN line. I think it comes right around like DL 16. Marcus Davenport, DL 15, Harold Landry, like right around that tier is where I started to go, ooh, I don't know about that. Because then you have Rashan Gary, Jalen Phillips, DeForest Buckner feeling good, feeling great. Then you get into, I will say that's the line of demarcation for me of like, those are DL2s for your roster. I don't feel comfortable with Landry or Davenport as my DL1.
Even linebacker kind of gets to that point to where it's like, Jordan Brooks, Fred Warner, Zaven Collins, then JOK.
I think linebacker's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like,
Where does it hit the wall for you all? Because you have like Blake Martinez at LB 17. I mean, he's due like he's only due $7 million, so he's probably going to be on the roster.
I like Logan Wilson's pre-free agency value a little better. He went LB 7 as opposed to post-free agency went LB 10. I'm pegging Logan Wilson closer to the top 5 than probably the 15th spot.
Yeah, I took him in this one. I'd love that value there.
Yeah.
Interesting stretch here: 13, 14, 15 for linebackers. Devondre Campbell, Deion Jones, Bobby Wagner. I think after that is where you start to get into the question marks for me, because that's where you have Isaiah Simmons, you have Blake Martinez, Shaq Thompson. Those are very clearly, to me, LB2s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that right there, I think, is the line of demarcation where it's like, all right, those top 15, I feel very good about. If any of those guys are my LB1, I'm feeling great.
How do you feel, Joshy, about, let's go back up here to Derwin James. So Derwin James went DB1 here, post-free agency, in between Daniil Hunter and Montez Sweat. So I guess it's kind of like, you talk about these combined ranks that we've done over the years, and you talk about, as far as mocks and as far as drafts go, where to start bleeding in, like IDPs versus your offensive picks. This is kind of another interesting thing to kind of think about is when do you start to take Derwin James? I'm assuming here, I haven't quite seen yet, the DB2 is Jeremy Chin. Wow. And then Antoine Winfield is the DB3. So are you okay with Derwin James over Sweat, Jordan Brooks, Fred Warner, Rashan Gary?
Not over.
I'm probably just gonna punt DB.
Same.
When you look at these D-line and these linebackers, and the top 15 or 16 feel pretty good, but after that, you're like, oh, no, I don't know about that. DB, I'm just probably going to wait. I'm going to stock up. So to answer your question, no, I'm not really looking to take a Derwin James. As great as he is and as nice as he would feel having that guy locked into your starting safety spot, I'm not taking him over these top D-line LBs.
That is the right answer. You know who scored more than Derwin James last year? There's 5 players, but one of them was really interesting. Jordan Poyer had 217 points in XFL. Kevin Byard had 203. Harrison Smith had 198. Jalen Thompson had 195. Buda Baker had 195. Derwin James had 195. So they were all pretty close together. But
you can find safeties, man.
And that was Derwin James' first healthy year in a while.
Yeah.
He still is going to have that injury risk.
But you look at these DBs with the same position. Poyer, still same spot. Kevin Byard, still with Tennessee. Harrison Smith, still in Minnesota. Jalen Thompson, Budda Baker, still in Arizona. So I think you're right. I mean, Derwin James is super drippy, but as we kind of talked about it earlier on in the episode, if you're looking for muddy stats, then don't draft any of these DBs very high.
But you're going to have to if you want Derwin.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Do you want to spend an 8th round, 9th round pick in a startup for a defensive back? Because that's what you have to do if you want Derwin
The answer is
James.
no.
Yeah.
I think we see it from this mock, and that's what's so helpful when you have this kind of displayed here of like, ooh, look at the opportunity cost, because that's what in these startup drafts you have to consider is who are you giving up? It's not just about where you have to pick these guys. It's also about who you give up the right to draft until your next pick comes around. And I'm not comfortable giving up Montez Sweat, Jordan Brooks, the guy we just said has a really good shot to be the LB1 in 2022. Fred Warner, Rashan Gary, Jalen Phillips, DeForest Buckner, right about there, I think. Zaven Collins, JOK, Harold Landry, Logan Wilson tier.
Yeah.
You want to sprinkle in a Derwin there? Okay, fine.
Look at this, too. This is also really ironic that I'm just kind of coming across this. But look at the top 10. This is safeties in XFFL from last year. Jordan Poyer, vet. Byard, vet. Harrison Smith, vet. Jalen Thompson's actually been around a while. Budda Baker, vet. Derwin James, vet. Jerron Kearse has been around. Minka Fitzpatrick, vet. Xavier Woods, vet. Logan Ryan, vet. Micah Hyde, vet. Justin Simmons, vet. Then Jeremy Chin, Xavier McKinney, Antoine Winfield. So that's really bizarre to me. That's like your top 10 DBs right there.
Yep. It's an old man's game.
Old man's game. Addy, you got highlighted or bolded here some of your favorite values, looks like, in this mock draft.
I don't think I really went through and did that like I did on the last one. I did notice our boy Joey the Tooth really likes him some Alex Highsmith this year. So just something to take note of. He's really high on him. I love Alex Highsmith, but I noticed he was drafting him a lot. I noticed Ernest Jones. John drafted him. If you take a look at the board and like, why did he draft Ernest Jones and Bobby Wagner both?
Hours before Bobby Wagner was signed.
Yeah, he took
Dang.
Ernest Jones hours before that happened. So that sucks.
Or maybe it's a blessing.
I was going to say, Bobo, we didn't
There you
really,
go.
this kind of fell in between tapings here, but the Bobby Wagner signing, how are you feeling about Ernest saving Christmas? How are you feeling about B-Wags in town?
Yeah, go subscribe to The Athletic and read my girl Jordan Rodriguez's piece on Ernest Jones and his usage and how you will never be able to acquire Ernest Jones any cheaper than right now. And, it's hard to link the two because they are completely different defenses, but we just got done talking about how 2 of the top 5 linebackers last year were Jordan Brooks and Bobby Wagner. Why could Ernest Jones
That's a
not
great
be in
point.
the same type role?
Oh, another thing I was wanting to look at. I mean, so obviously the guys that gain the most value, let's look and see where they were pre-free agency versus post. So Khalil Mack, where did we take him in the first one?
I remember he was one of your favorite values.
He was DL 47 pre-free agency, post-free agency, DL 33.
Wow.
And the difference here, he was the 110th player IDP picked in the pre, and in the post, he was the 76th off the board.
Wow. So
Big jump there.
That's pretty cool. Let's look at Von Miller. Von Miller, he was DL 50 in the post.
He was the 122nd overall in the post, and he was the 165th overall DL 63.
Wow.
So jumped up about 40 spots.
So far, I think I said I think we liked all the landing spots pretty much for the guys, and I think I was like, yeah, I would expect about these guys to rise 10 spots, and so far that's looking about the case.
I may have the linebacker biggest riser. Bobby, who do you think it is? It's a not as big of a name, but he landed in a linebacker needy situation.
Kyzir White.
Bingo. Kyzir White, 126th off the board, LB 46 in the pre, in the post, LB 29.
Wow.
The 77th overall player drafted.
Any guesses on defensive back?
Ooh, the biggest riser.
It's an easy one.
Yeah, Justin Reid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Justin Reid, DB 40, taken 143 overall pre, post, taken 62nd overall DB 13.
That's the biggest jump of any player, probably.
Yeah. I mean, was that 27 spots?
Because what you're looking at is, who had the jump after finding that new landing spot? And I don't think there's really anyone that's going to have that kind of jump.
I will say I took a pretty muddy player in the post, and I took the LB 46 off the board. I took Drue Tranquill in the 22nd. So if you're looking for the opposite position of the Kyzir White, Kyzir White has exited. You know, you talk whatever you want to about Reader and stuff now, but Drue Tranquill is going to play ball in Los Angeles.
Especially with Kenneth Murray now nursing an ankle injury on a team where the coaching staff really isn't his biggest fan. Yeah, Justin Reid, so 142 to 61. That's basically an 80-spot jump, like overall.
That's amazing.
That's got to be the biggest winner, right?
I think so. Uchenna's on the list. He was DL 55. He was DL 40 post.
Nice. It's a 15-spot
let's
jump
look at
just in the DLs.
Chandler Jones.
Oh, Chandler Jones. I mean, all these guys had to have a
Chandler
big jump
Jones
up.
was DL 58. Overall 154. Post, he was DL 34. Overall 82.
Shoo, so that's a 24-spot jump along the D-line.
And I think, you know, like we mentioned on the pod, I think we were all kind of reminded, you know, oh, yeah, these vets, they're getting paid big time. They're going to still be valuable for another 3-4 years. And I did the same thing in my ranks. I bumped up all these guys, and it looks like that's kind of how drafters are feeling as well.
Joshy, question for you. So pre-free agency, Khari Willis was the DB 13. Post-free agency, Khari Willis was the DB 18. So not a lot of differentiation there.
I think part of that might be I'm seeing a lot of chatter about the Colts picking up a safety.
Okay.
So I think maybe that's influencing it a little bit.
How do you feel, though, in that range? You feel like Khari, even if they bring somebody in? Because he's a person
I like. Great DB too.
Okay.
And he'll go somewhere. Even if maybe he's out the door in Indy, someone's going to sign him next year. It'll be like a Jordan Whitehead situation.
He's a great target if you want to do the punt DB type of strategy.
He's a solid safety.
Yes, absolutely.
So you're pegging DB too.
Yep.
I like it.
Yep.
And that's a good value there. He could have a monster year.
Yep.
I mean, Gus Bradley could really help him. He typically
Don't forget,
does.
this is the Jonathan Abram, the guy that unlocked his IDP value, as bad as he was at safety. And I think Khari Willis is a much better NFL safety than Abram was. So, it could be in for a big-time Khari Willis season.
This one's for you, Addy. So this one's kind of freaky, and maybe you picked both of these selections here. But pre-agency, Yeats went Yetur Gross-Matos for the Carolina Panthers, for those who don't know. But DL 44 pre, and then post, he went
41.
41.
So he moved up like 6 overall spots.
So nice little slight bump. Yeah, I definitely took him in the first one. I didn't get him in the second one.
So end of year.
We call that the Addy bump for Yeats.
Yes.
I think somebody listening said, hey, it's Yetur Gross-Matos. Addy likes him. I'm going to snag him in the next mock.
So end of year, you feel pretty confident with Yeats as a DN3?
Yeah, I think I feel is about as good as you have since, rostering this guy. I mean, he ended the year pretty strong. The opportunities opening up for him with Reddick leaving. I mean, it should be. Yeah, we should see his best year in year 3.
And what you love here is if he does have DL3 potential, you're getting him as in the DL4 range.
Yeah.
So you're not having to pay up for this guy.
Let's call it a bad pick real quick. And I don't know who made these. I know who made the second one. But I'm just going to say I would much rather have so instead of Kenneth Murray at the LB 38, you could have had in turn Drue Tranquill at the LB 46. You rather have Tranquill or Murray at this point? It is a dynasty startup.
I mean, probably still Murray. I don't know. I've got a lot of sunk cost bias going on right now, though.
Addy, you're the tranquilizer over there.
I mean, I want Tranquill. Just the price is very nice.
Here's another fun little activity as well. Look at the DB32 L'Jarius Sneed. That's when if you're on Sleeper, That's another reason we've talked about it to oblivion, but another reason to just punt DB.
Those are both Addy.
Until eternity comes.
Addy specials, baby.
But I mean, you look at these late DBs: L'Jarius Sneed, Tyrann Mathieu, Adrian Amos,
Jordan
Darnell
Whitehead.
Savage. Yeah, Harrison Smith, who we just talked about in RSO, was the safety 3. Just went off the board as the DB 36. And again, this is a startup, so
Logan Ryan right behind him.
yeah, take that into consideration.
What's funny
but-
is these positions, you talk about when to start bleeding in. This is another reason. Look here. So in this range you're talking about, you have LB 36. This is sequential, like going just down the list of IDPs. LB 36, DL 36, DL 37, DL 38, DB 17. So that's the thing is like if you
Everyone knows this.
Exactly. If you want to punt DB,
Yeah.
it's not like the pantry's going to be bare when you go to get these guys later on. 20 fewer DBs have gone than linebacker and DL at this point.
Yeah, well freaking said, Joshy. They're on waivers. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But you're probably going to be attacking it at the same time with your league mates. So it's going to
Yes.
be annoying in those late rounds.
It will,
But you have a good list.
get you a good list.
IDPshow.com. You
That's
know what
right.
the deal is. Let's read through our teams, though. We didn't really say who. Like,
Yeah,
I
y'all
wanna
read
hear-
through your teams.
Real,
and we'll
real
put
quick,
a bow on it.
before you start, because I'm going to forget this if I don't say it. We also educated people. Get their drop ready, Joshy. DB 46, John Johnson.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Nailed it.
I'm just glad we could educate
I organized the
community.
board. I know where everything is.
You're
now.
doing great,
I'm
hon.
locked in.
Go for it, Addy.
All right. So this is an Addy special draft right here. Very wide receiver heavy. I had the second pick. Jamar Chase. Love to see that. JT went first, for those wondering. So I went Jamar Chase. 211, I get Jalen Waddle. This was after the Tyreek trade, so his value's gone down a little bit. I don't care. Elijah Moore at 302. I think that got a lot of whispers like, "Ooh, wow, that's a little early." I don't care.
Yeah, shut up.
Getting our guys.
I don't think Addy cares what the reaction is.
I don't
Bobby.
care. I don't care, baby.
Get me in a draft. I'm gonna tear it down. I need
Sure.
I need that on the board too. That's like drunk Kevin Costner energy.
So we get Elijah Moore at 302. Then we get Michael Pittman. Then we get our boy Rashad Bateman. Then we get Juju Smith-Schuster. Then we get Hunter Renfrow. So this is 7 wide receivers in a row. I got people probably a little upset at this point.
Everybody's sweating. This mock is just in tatters. Addy has thrown a grenade into our strategies.
They're like, this guy is freaking hot.
This guy.
Is this Sigmund Bloom or is this Adam?
Yeah.
So then at 811, I go TJ Hawkinson, still not touching running back. Then I get Trey Lance, 902. Again, my original strategy, I was just going to fade IDP completely, but everyone in the room was doing the same thing. Evan was doing this. Z-Max was doing this. A few other people were doing this. So at this point, it's like, man, I cannot start. I mean, there was just too much value. So I go Logan Wilson, Jeremy Chin. Then I get back on some offensive guys. Gabriel
That was a
Davis.
funny pick for me. He's like, you know what? I'm going back wide receiver. Screw y'all.
Give me Gabe. Give me Gabe and his 6 touchdowns.
Could have to. So yeah, wide receiver 8, y'all. Gabe Davis.
And then he
Wide receiver 8
then
is
look
Gabe
at,
Davis.
Then look who he goes. Go Addy.
Albert O.
His second tight end.
Second tight end. That's right. I had TJ Hawkinson. Then I get Pete Warner. Running back
I was
situation.
going to say, the only thing that Addy hates more than IDPs in this draft is running backs.
Sure.
Just had to get these over with, like pulling teeth. Ronald Jones, Kenneth Gainwell,
Get it over with.
Naeem Hines.
Jesus,
Very
that
yikes.
is gross.
Very yikes. But luckily for me, I am loaded up with baller ass receivers where I can make a trade. I'm just not gonna. I'm not.
Listen, everyone in this fake league, blackball Addy. Don't trade him a single running back. Make him pay for this.
Pete Warner, Ronald Jones, Kenneth Gainwell, Naeem Hines, Emmanuel Ogba. This is like going to be my guy, I guess, this year. Just always there for you in the 18th round. A guy that has got 9 sacks the last 2 years. That's my DL1. Then Uchenna Nwosu, Josh Sweat, Cameron Bynum, a guy that I love, Jordan Whitehead, a big fan apparently, L'Jarius Sneed, Darrell Taylor, Devin Bush, 2502.
Whoa, what a fall
Jesus.
for Devin Bush.
Remember the days of which Devin do you want? Azeez Al-Shaair, 2611. Put out a tweet about this. The 49ers gave Al-Shaair a second-round tender.
That's very high.
So that should they think a lot of this guy. For some reason, people are just not drafting Algier, but they're still drafting Dre Greenlaw extremely high. I would be cautious. I'm not saying go one or the other. I would just probably avoid because I don't know how it's going to shake
We like
out.
Fred. The other two, we'll see.
I prefer Algier if I've got to pick, just because one is
way
you can
cheaper.
get 20 LBs later.
Dre Greenlaw in that draft went LB 33, and you picked Algier LB 55.
There you go.
22 linebackers later.
For a murky situation.
Yep.
I'm just not confident in taking Dre.
When you have a murky situation, just buy the discount.
Yep.
Buy the discounted player. That's always the best move.
Yep. And then final pick was Preston Smith. But okay, so for a guy that pretty much faded IDP, I went my IDP starters ended up being Emmanuel Ogbah, Josh Sweat, Darrell Taylor, Uchenna, Logan Wilson, Pete Warner, Devin Bush, Algier, Jeremy Chin, Cameron Bynum, Jordan Whitehead, L'Jarius Sneed.
That's beautiful.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I love it.
That strategy actually I think worked out pretty well.
I think that's the way. I mean,
Do you substitute a wide receiver up at the top for a running back?
maybe. See,
Okay.
I got sniped hard on Travis Etienne. I was gonna go Etienne. He was gonna be my hero. RB.
Just had to get Hunter Renfro in that receding hairline.
ETN went in the 410 right before your Michael Pittman pick.
I was going Etienne there, but that's all right. Whatever. I can
Eddie's
trade.
just-
I can trade for Etienne if I needed.
Eddie's on the golf course just throwing his phone at this point.
Y'all not worried about ETN?
Not really.
What about Dobbins? Melvin Gordon now.
I think it's a good chance to buy if you're.
Melvin
Yeah.
Gordon hadn't officially signed there yet, has he?
I think he's a Baltimore Raven.
Even if he does, I mean, JK was going to be in a split either way. I mean,
Sure.
you know.
All right, Bobo, hit us with your team here.
Oh.
Melvin Gordon's still a free agent.
I don't feel like my team was that good. Let's run through somebody else's. Who's somebody we want to hit here? Let's do PFF Macri just because he had a new baby.
There we go.
Everyone always loves.
Let's hit him up. PFF Macri goes DeAndre Swift in the first, then DK Metcalf, J.K. Dobbins, Darren Waller, Elijah Mitchell in the fifth, Kyler Murray, Chase Young in the seventh, then his boy Derwin James, Rashan Gary in the ninth, Adam Thielen, Calvin Ridley in the 11th. This is a startup mock. Bobby Wagner in the 12th, Kwity Paye in the 13th.
Jesus,
Joshy.
this defense is gross.
Ernest Jones again to pair with Rashan Gary and Bobby Wagner. Then Alexander Madison, Noah Fant, Levante David, and Zadarius Smith in the 18th. Jaron Kearse, Brandon Jones, Baron Browning, Aaron Rodgers is his second QB in the 22nd. Cam Jordan, Irv Smith, Cody Barton season, hashtag Mike Wohlert, David Njoku, and Julio Jones
That's a nice little squad.
in the 27th. Yeah,
Even
Macri,
with a baby on the way, Macri did a hell of a job.
Macri knows what he's doing. He's no dummy. Even with the maybe snafu there with Wagner and Jones, I still don't mind it for both
But
of them.
I didn't realize he got Wagner,
Yeah.
even though he got Jones. So it's like that lessens the sting, I think, quite a bit. Because what if you do have a Wagner in a Jordan Brooks situation?
And all these dudes are smart. Macri's smart. Johnny's smart. He doesn't fade. Love Johnny for his constant selection of Justin Simmons in
I know.
every mock ever.
Johnny doesn't let any value fall.
Because Johnny's smart. Johnny knows what's going on. Kyle B doesn't fade the vets either. He took Eric Kendricks in the 11th, which I love that. He also took Daniil Hunter. Joey the Tooth knows what in the world he's freaking doing, taking Darius Leonard and Roquan off the board, 6th in the 7th round. I don't know. Maybe could
It's
do
just
the,
always fun to see the different strategies pan out.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really fun to do these mocks because you just see, like, let me try this.
And we want to get people together that know what they're doing. There's so many. You see so many mocks out there. Where it's like, good lord,
yeah.
what are we doing? What
Why?
do we got going? It becomes useless. I mean, really, if you got some bad drafters in there, you're not going to get anywhere with it. I mean,
So,
not helpful.
I think Z-Mag's faded IDP the hardest, and his first IDP taken was
apologized. I don't forgive him.
DeMarcus Lawrence in the 13th, then Randy Gregory, then Chris Jones, Cole Holcomb, David Long, Camus Grugier-Hill, Von Bell, Grant Delpit, Miles Jack, Christian Barmore, Darnell Savage, Harrison Smith, Jordan Hicks, Willie Gay. Still turned out a fine defense. And let's look at the
I think it's
other
the way.
side.
I think it's the way.
Let's look at his offense. So Z-Mag's offense: Josh Allen, Joe Mixon, Tony Pollard, Chase Edmonds, Miles Sanders. Wide receivers, or as tight end is Mark Andrews. Wide receivers: DJ Moore, Michael Thomas, Brandon Cooks, Rondale Moore, Kadarius Toney.
Solid.
So it can work. You can make it work.
We'll have more mocks out there. We'll give you more
Hey,
examples.
I was just going to give you all a little teaser. I mentioned this earlier. We were doing our draft coverage is going to be pristine. We have the live stream. We have a recap pod Saturday night with Jon Macri. Then we have a post-NFL draft, mock draft, fellas. I have put together a hell of a room for us. Kyle B., Joey the Tooth, Bobo, Addy, myself, Mike Wohler, John Glosser, Boo Bam, Jon Macri, Evan Ronda, Sticky Z, and our boy Jamar Chase is on the case, Jake Colhagen. That's going to be, let's give it to him. It's going to be a hell of a mock draft, folks, and we're going to do it live on the pod, and we're going to get input from everyone who is drafting to see what's their thought process, and then we will tear it to shreds on air because they won't be able to know until the next day when they're listening and they're gutted.
Sure.
But that's going to be a lot of fun.
Boys.
So tune in. And I'm sure you guys will have more mocks before then. So
for sure.
We'll keep throwing this data out there.
We're going to keep, trying to give stuff for the folks out there to use.
It's also so that we can kind of help y'all with the sleeper ADP going into your real drafts.
So it's
for
a
this year.
joke, man. If you're not familiar with the IDP, if it's your first time in there, it's going to be a struggle. Like, it's a problem.
And we'll, Addie's the crazy person here. I'm sure he will come up with some type of a mock draft ADP type of tweet for everybody. For the mocks that we run, we can kind of come up with a accumulation of where these guys are going or whatever to kind of educate you. If you want to hit up the IDPshow.com,
Educate.
it'll be somewhere.
Sure.
Well, I'm proud of us, boys.
Be
We put
my honor.
out a 2-hour episode here.
Hey, old-fashioned.
Oh, that is an old-fashioned. That's an IDP show special right there, April 11th.
Big
2-hour
3.
show.
IDP.
It's good to be back.
Sir.
Folks. Good to be
Adam,
back.
Bobby, Joshy got that news feed.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribed over on YouTube. You get to see our beautiful faces. There's Addy. Give double thumbs up there, Addy. There's Bobo. Wave to the camera, Bobo. So make sure you're subscribed over on YouTube. We're going to be putting out these videos. We'll have the live stream over there as well. And like I said, we got some great episodes coming up for y'all in the feed. We got Joey with Jon Macri. Episode was just bumped back a couple days. They're going to be dropping that one Thursday night, Friday morning for y'all. Next week, we will have John Glosser in the feed with Jon Macri talking DBs. We've got Joey coming up talking NFL draft busts. And then we're into draft season, boys. It is here. It is upon us. So
It's going to be one hell of a week.
Well, wheel keeps on turning. Like we said, off season, no sir. This is the on season. So
That's right, yeah.
Are we going to stop doing IDP? What do you say to that, Mr. Hicks?
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
We're not going to stop, folks. We're not going to stop doing IDP content. So thank you all for listening. Gentlemen, any final thoughts here before we sign off?
Yeah, we're built different. There's no off season. What can you say? Hey, we don't stop.
I'm happy. I'm happy like a peach in a tree. There I am hanging around, hoping there'd be someone like you to pick me. I'm happy, oh happy Lord. I'm happy like the tree in the breeze. There I am a waving to you, hoping that you'd